Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Barrel's Garage. I held it going until John finished up the Creators Workshop. I hope you all was there. Holy cow, look at that. Old McDonald slid right in there first in place. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Oh, it looks like we got Chris. What's going on? Over there in New York. You're right, almost right smack dab in the middle of New York City. I was actually thinking about you this week when I was digging all the rat rods out and cleaning them up, getting ready for the next shows and stuff, and working on Sir Rat a little. We done stuck the tunnel ram on it, and I had something happen that I have never once had happen. I had a China rail fail, and it's the first time that I've ever had it happen, and I think it's because of the tunnel ram. I went back and reviewed all the footage and everything, even though there's no audio in that footage because the camera screwed up. And I cannot see for the life of me how or why, because I always caulk in the China rails. I never use the gaskets. It failed. And like I said, it's the first time it's ever happened. So I got it back in the shop, and I get to pull that intake again and put it back on. Anyway, Chris, I was thinking about you when I was figuring that all out. Mr. Lars, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Keeping JB in line in there. The Schmidt Show Garage. Great to see you, man. I seen you over at John's place. Good to see you, and I hope you caught some of that good stuff that was floating around in there. His workshops are actually pretty helpful. Auto Salvage Outlaw. How about you, Alabama? Roll on. Good to see you, brother. And our Kiwi. What's going on, Dean? You know, I tried to say your name in that short, but I was paying attention to the time limit. When I was talking about that European shifter, your name was here, but I could not spit it out my dang mouth. Oh, good to see you, my friend. I don't know why. I was thinking too much on, okay, keep it under a minute. Keep it under a minute. Philip the Third, what's going on? Always good to see you. And Twisted Mopar. Shut up a little late to the party. That's all right. If you have any questions on any of that stuff, you know, my lives are wide open. We talk about a little bit of anything or everything. If you have any questions, or any of you on any of that stuff, how to get your channel going, and some little tips and tricks that I've learned and I can pass on to you, by all means, throw it out there and we'll talk about it and see what we can do. Had a bonfire Friday. I'm now down to one eyebrow. I'm about to do one of them too. I got that Lincoln pulled in and around. It's sitting right over there in the driveway. Got the hood open on it, but the hood is so damn hot I can't get a hold of it to take it off. So it's just going to have to sit until this afternoon. But I want to fire it to make sure she's going to run before I pull it out of the hole and then send that car down the road. But more than likely, I'll have a little bonfire come out of that holly, and oh yeah, I'll trim my beard a little. There you are, Philip. Great to see you, man. Oh, I scared him away. Looks like he's having a little internet trouble or something. Come back, Philip. The door's always open. Speed shorts. Yeah, I cannot edit on this daggone phone. I try and I try. You can see it in the glare there. There's a crack that runs right down the middle of the screen. Every time I'm scrolling across there trying to edit and I hit that crack, it goes, and it's just a exercise in extreme frustration. And so I try to do all my shorts on one take. And that's a lot to think about when you're trying to, okay, it's got to be under a minute, okay, and I got to hold the phone up kind of close because the mic on it is, yeah, super sucky. Yeah. Oh. Hey, there you are, Philip. Some reason you're oh, I'll get you back on here. Oh, it says your mic isn't connected. I tried to unmute you there. Huh. I don't hear nothing. Yeah, I think you're having mic troubles there, buddy. Dadgummit. I wanted to hear your idea on that Corvair. I think I got it there. Did anybody else hear him, or was it on my end? You looking for a quick time for a bell housing? That's a Canadian mag, yes. Quick times. Oh, I get it. You're looking for a QuickTime Ford scatterproof bell housing. Any scatterproof bell housing. It's to run a manual transmission on a big block Ford. And it's got to be for a top loader 4-speed manual transmission, car transmission. I looked at those and good night. They're like, whew, beyond expensive. But that car, I'm just building as a burnout car. So a lot of the burnout competitions, they'll let you get by with just a cast bell. What's going on, Philip? Did we get it?
How about now? Can you hear me now?
We got her there. All right.
Okay. All right, finally. Third time's a charm, you know? Yeah, there's a couple of things I'd like to touch base with you on.
Go through the bell. Yeah, what's that?
There was one other time, the last time I was on with you, just before I came on the air, you were making comment about these 4-valve cylinder heads compared to 2-valve cylinder heads. And you made the comment that the 4 valves can't be breathing any better than a 2-valve. And I can show you the math. I can show you the math that shows that they don't. All right. I'm not prepared to show it to you today, but I'll draw it all up on a piece of paper or on a chalkboard or something, and I'll demonstrate how them 2 valves will not flow more air than one big valve. Okay.
Especially in a Hemi, an old school Hemi. I mean, it's hard to compete with Hemi flow numbers.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about some of your smaller engines that are running 4 valves. Like, for instance, that Chrysler PT Cruiser I had. Yep. It had 4 valve per cylinder heads, and it wasn't. First of all,
those things love.
That's kind of a long story. To make a long story short, my wife wrecked that car once, and I ended up having to rebuild the whole dang thing. Okay, and it did end up having a cracked cylinder head, and I had to put another cylinder head on it. But the issue was, the point is that it has 4 valves in it, but they're tiny little valves.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just not going to flow those kind of numbers. Like I said, I'm not prepared to show you today, but I'll put it all down on a piece of paper.
They're tiny.
Yeah, the valves are, I think I measured them at 1.10 inches in diameter. And people think, well, if you got 2 of them, that's the equivalent of a 2.2 valve. Well, no, it don't work like that.
No,
The
you
math
get
don't
more
work like
sprouting around them.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll show you one day because, see, I did a lot of heating and air conditioning work and had to size duct work and work with round pipe. And that was just it. You get in an argument with fellas on the job, they say, well, let's just run 2 round 6-inch pipes. That flows just as much air as one 12-inch round pipe. No, it don't.
There's
You
volume.
can flow more air through a 12-inch diameter pipe than you can 2 6-inch diameter pipes.
Yep.
And I've got the math to prove it. But with that being said, let's move on to that second thing, that Corvair. Here was my thought, because you know that Pontiac Grand Prix that I got with the 3800 supercharged. Now, that whole setup, any one of those front-wheel drive 3800 cars, I think that would be cool. You know, you see everybody restoring the Corvairs to their either original condition, or someone's putting a V8 in the front of the car. There is one guy on YouTube that's building a mid-engine Corvair using an LS engine and like a Ferrari differential, and that's pretty cool. Of course, he's got it all caged out. But my thought was make it a street driving car, you know, with a 3800 transverse with the, what is it, the T, what do they call it, the 4T65E transmission, you know, the standard transmission. Essentially, find yourself an old Buick Park Avenue with a 3800 supercharged, take the whole front end off and put it underneath the Corvair.
Drop the cradle out and stick it up in there. Have you seen the
Make yourself
got a couple of pictures and stuff of it. I think it was called How to Make a Chevy Citation Cool. That's what we did with it. Drop the cradle out. You lock the tie rods.
Yeah,
well, you don't lock them. You leave them adjustable so you can get your toe set and all of that.
Right.
To align it. But yeah, works
right.
great. Yeah. Basically a Fiero. Same thing. It just got tie rod ends and
right. I've got a
looking at the side of it. Are you familiar with the FX class back in the 60s? What?
Oh yeah.
Where funny cars started. Factory experimentals. You look at those cars and the front fender, the front tires are way forward, so the opening of the front fenders is almost at the bumper. Then you look at the back fender and they moved them way forward too. So they shifted all the car, you know, body back. If you look at that Corvair and squint your eyes just right, it looks like a factory FX car.
Yeah, you can see it.
So
I'm sure somewhere you can look, if you look long and hard enough, you'll see somebody that's turned an old Corvair into a gasser or an AFX car at some point in time, you know. I'm sure you can find it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. They would move the front axle forward, and then they'd move the rear axle forward too. It's like they moved the whole body of the car back on the chassis. But yeah, I can recall one of the very first ones. It was a Mr. Norm's Grand Spalding Dodge Dart AFX car. And ironically, in the mid 90s, when I started going back to the track, I'll be dang if that car didn't show up, you know. But I watched that car go down the track in the 60s, you know, when my dad was drag racing. So
I thought that'd be kind of a neat little, kind of a throwback to that era. I'm really into that, you know, throwing back to the good old days.
Yeah, I find myself being more nostalgic about that. I like all the old nostalgia dragsters, the old front engine dragsters, the AFX, you know, the and what's that other class? Well, like gassers, you know. In fact, the one track that's closest to me is in Atmore, Alabama, and they're on the Southern Gassers Association circuit. So you get to see a lot of that. And the Southern Gassers Association is pretty hot here in the Southeast. So, but,
straight axle.
Yeah, I just want to pop in for a minute and and
Yeah.
share with you that my thoughts, and I'll be getting off here. And the next time you come on, I'll make sure I have my math ready.
You're all good, and you're more than welcome anytime. We
Okay.
were on the same page with that.
Let you get back to your show now. Bye.
Good seeing you, man. It's always good to see Philip. Yeah, we were pretty close to the same page on it. I was thinking doing that way, but the guy that had one of them supercharged little Pontiacs, well, he gave it to his granddaughter, so I don't have easy access to that cradle no more, so. Ed's Machine, what's great? Good to see you, man. What's going on? A 63 Spider with a turbo engine? Wow, that's pretty cool. My dad's friend, when I was a kid, had a Corvair with an Olds Tornado. Whoa, now that would be something different. You could use that, or, well, they're awful wide. They're really wide. So, but heck, if it's a rat rod, you just cut them fenders up, inner fender, your rear fender parts up a little, and you just slide them on out. That is an idea, because a Cadillac is the same thing. And I know where there's a couple of Eldorados. The Eldorado, both of them are 500s too. That's kind of a halfway mid-engine, kinda mid-engine by name. The transverse. Well, no, those are forward mount. That's interesting. I gotta think about that. Boy, it'd be a pain in the butt to change the spark plugs on it. You have to roll the back windows down, reach in and change the spark plugs. Now you got my noodle working. Terry Grover, what is going on? Great to see you, man. Got another shout out coming for you, Terry, on my next, well, when I finally get off my lazy butt and get this video edited up and out there. But I got another shout out coming towards you. Dove heads again. So anybody looking to modify and get horsepower out of a big block Ford or any Ford, go over check Terry Grover out. This guy knows his stuff and knows how to do it on the easy cheap with a little Elbert grease. Good channel, great guy. Both him and his son. Yep, it's got 62 Impala taillights on it. The Vet, the seats are Corvette, the buckets are. I know. I'm not sure about the steering wheel and steering column. The bad thing about that Corvair, it's got 2-speed power glide in it. It's a very rare transaxle. And if anybody wants it, let me know. I'll sell it. The engine, transmission, or transaxle, everything on the cheap if anybody wants it. But you got to come to Idaho to get it. Otherwise, if I shipped it to you, it would cost more than it's worth. Because I can almost guarantee that 2-speed automatic that's in it, that power glide that's in that Corvair, probably is going to need some work. And to be honest with you, they needed work straight out of the dang factory. Oh, automatic transmissions have come a long way since 1967. Like the carbs for the turbos came from the 58 bet. On the 58 bet. Probably that was that little small CFM, little Rochester 4, little square bore. No problem, Terry. Just keep the good work coming. Yeah, the 4-speed in the Corvair, that's where they shined. That automatic killed a lot of the Corvairs because it lugged them. It kept them at low RPM. And an air-cooled engine, if you lug them, you burn them right down to nothing. The good thing about the Corvair is it's got the central fan right on top that blows the air straight down over the cylinders, and it's a big fan. Whereas the Volkswagen and even the early Porsche, well, the early Porsches had Volkswagen engines in them. They didn't switch to the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder until later. But they just got that squirrel fan right in the center on the heating shield that drops it down into the center of your jugs, the 2 center cylinders, and it kind of deflects through the heat shield that way. Whereas the Corvair, which Volkswagen picked up later with the pancake engine, they called them, they put them in the Type 4, Type 3s, squarebacks, and the hatchback little freaky looking Volkswagens. They picked up the Corvair design and rolled with that. Heck, in Europe, the Corvair was sold as an Opel. Because GM was tied in with Opel. Yep, if you run numbers on the car, it comes back as 58. That's kind of a different little intake too. It kind of comes up and it mounts where the air cleaner is on them. This one is the 95 horsepower. Or no, the 125 horsepower Monza. It's got the 2 single barrel carbs on it. I think it was 145 horsepower was the 2 barrels. And 160, I'm probably way off because I'm not looking at it, was the turbocharged one. They were low horsepower, but that car is light, very, very light. Yeah, in fact, that's a guy that's interested in the engine. One of them. One guy, it's actually same family. The guy's older brother. He wants to use it, the whole transaxle, everything. And he's doing a 29 Ford Roadster, and he wants to use that to power it with, and then turn the engine compartment into the trunk. He's kind of doing a wild custom build with it. If he doesn't come through on it, then his little brother, he's interested in it to do a home build airplane. He's big into aviation now. And they use a lot of Corvairs in all through the 70s. They used a lot of them for aviation. Not a direct swap. There's work you got to do, but gives you a good starting foundation for them. Horsepower wise, like I said, you get more in a Volkswagen, but it's tough to get them over 300-400. You get 400 horsepower out of a flat six Corvair. That's wow. We ran one for years and years and years in a sand rail, though. That was my dad's rail. And it was the only one I couldn't beat. In that community page post that I did just a little bit ago about Idaho geography and reason I love living in Idaho, you look into it towards the end of that video, it shows you footage, pictures and stuff of the St. Anthony sand dunes, and that lake that they're showing there, that is our drag strip. That's where we used to go sand dragging. It's actually it's the only time I've ever lifted front tires was there at that lake. When the lake goes dry and during irrigation, that lake is actually irrigation runoff. It just fills up over there through the sand dunes, and it kind of makes a little lake out there during irrigation season. And then in the fall, when the water table goes down and they start shutting the canals down, that lake slowly dries up, goes away, and it makes a perfect drag strip out there. Especially when that sand is good and wet. Oh, with good sized paddle tires. Oh, that's just like racing slicks on a drag strip. Well, pretty close anyway. You got to watch your launch, or all you do is rooster tail all the way through. I was going to use 2 turbos from the Flat 6 and add them on the T-Bird. Turbos are all right if you like high RPM, because on a turbo, if it ain't a spinning, you ain't a winning. That's why I've always leaned towards superchargers, because on a supercharger, you got that boost right off idle. Especially what they're doing with centrifugals now. The old Roots blowers, oh, there ain't nothing cooler looking than a Roots blower, but they took a little horsepower to spin them things. The centrifugals, they're really coming into their own now. It took them forever. That supercharger's been around for a long time, but really didn't start making headway until, well, the Coyote Ford. Now everybody knows what a centrifugal supercharger is. Mama 3, what's going on, Colleen? How's half pint coming? It's probably going just about as good as my cat's cradle. Oh, I got to get back busy on my 58. It's just looking sadder and sadder as I walk by it. I've been too dang busy on everything else to get in there and actually do some work on it. And now that I traded the centerpiece off, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. We put the tunnel ram on Sir Rat, and now Sir Rat is Sir Rats-a-Lot. Oh, well, it's all fun. And it got my dad out of the house, back out in the shop where he belongs, even if it's just sitting in a chair, staring at my dumb ass running around on that big block board, causing an oil leak on the China rail. That is the first. I'm still baffled by that. That is the first time, and I've ever had one fail. But never say never, because it's possible. And it tricked us too. Yeah, oh, it tricked me good. When it would warm up, where the tunnel ram comes down, and then you got the back China rail on the block, and it's got a good bead, like I always do with the silicone. Seals up great when it's cold. And then you got your oil pressure sender right off of that. And we always run 2 oil pressures. We run the idiot light, so it comes right up out of there to a T, and then we screw the idiot light into it, and then the manual oil pressure gauge comes off of it as well. We do that because if it ever loses oil pressure, boom, there's a light on the dash that lights up, and it forces you to look at the gauge. So that's how we set them all up. We run doubles. Same with the alternator too. We run an idiot light and a volt gauge. But anyway, it's part of that NASA plan A, plan B, plan C stuff. Anyway, when we got it all together, we could start it up in the shop, set the timing, tune it and everything. Not one drop of oil had come out of there. Take it out on the road and drive it around, come back, and it would fill up that cavity with oil. So I thought it was the oil pressure sender because of the bushing we got to put down into the block, because Ford overbuilds everything. They got a 3/8 idiot light that goes down in there. Anyway, so we got a bushing for that. Goes into a T with a male nipple. So there's a connection point, a leak point. Got a leak point here to look for. And then the screw in idiot light sender plus the copper line that comes out of it, or plastic in this case. But yeah, there's a reason we're using plastic, not copper, and I'll explain that on the video. So I got all these places where it can leak, and as I feel my hand around it, I felt oil on all of that. So I thought it was leaking out of there. I changed the barrel fitting in it for the gauge. Nope, that wasn't it. I pulled that all out and I replaced it with all brand new brass hardware. Still would leak. So finally, I got lucky, and after I drove it around the block a few times and opened it up and testing the timing, see if we got the timing set perfect, pulled it into the shop and looked, and as it was still warm and still running, I could see it was leaking again. So I wrapped it around with rags and checking it out, and just so happened Dad got in it and revved it up a few times and held it there a little, and you could see the oil spraying coming out of the China rail there, and it was hitting with the turbulence of the air going around the engine, because it's an open engine, was spraying right up onto the oil pressure sender. So it was tricking me. Anyways, there's my big, long, short story of how I finally had a China rail fail. To fix it, I think what's causing it is because on a big block Ford, there's a lot of span in there, and the shape of it kind of goes like this on the backside. And because there's so much aluminum on there, as that would heat up, that aluminum is moving, and the RTV can't keep up with the movement, so it breaks loose and it lets it squirt, opens up there. So I'm going to do what I never done before. I'm going to put the China rail gaskets in there because they stay pliable until they're no longer pliable and start puking, and I'll do it that way. But the plus side to it all, when I got video of doing all of that work, I got the video of everything getting ready to drop the tunnel ram on it. But after that, my camera buzzed out and I didn't get any other footage. Well, I got footage, but the audio would break in and out. And so me installing the tunnel ram, I had unusable footage. So maybe it's the YouTube God saying, okay, here's your chance to do take 2 on that. Okay, now I just got done telling you all the stuff that I should have been videoing. If it would quit raining and stop being 100 degrees, it would be going a lot better. We ain't had no rain, but I think yesterday we hit 112. It's been brutal hot this past week here, but we don't have the Carolina humidity. Our humidity is like I think it was 18%. We are expecting 20 inches, if not 30 of rain. Holy Toledo. For the next 5 days. That ain't raining. That's absolute pouring. That's somebody turning the faucet on in the clouds. Mrs. One-Eye Cat, what's going on, Wendy? I'm pretty sure you was earlier. I missed it while I was yakking. I'm sorry. We caught in the rain yesterday on the highway. It was bad. Holy cow, you guys are getting lots of rain over in that eastern side. What's up in here? Working on my truck, but listening. What's going on, JV? Great to see you. You working on the trash truck? Them Chevys, you betcha. I play with them all. And penny for pony is dang hard to beat a Chevy. Especially with all the bolt-on goodies they done got. Unless you play with the oddball Chevys like JB is doing. You play with an oddball Chevy, yeah, you got to put your thinking cap on and scratch it a little bit. Love that little 2.8, man. Never would I ever thought of putting an actual roots blower on a 2.8. That is just real cool. And you'll see Chevy stuff on the channel coming again. Heck, I started my channel with Chevy. Chevy, then I had a Jeep on there. Then, what else? Mopar. Got to get that Mopar back around and get it going. Clock's a ticking on that. My granddaughter will be 16 in 16 years. Ford, heck, that's a waste of time. Have a case of oil in the trunk. Oh, especially those dual sump oil pans. The one that the oil dipstick goes through the side of the pan instead of into the block and down. I asked a Ford guy, a guy that does nothing but Fords personally. His machine shop does everything, but him personally, he races Ford. He is a dedicated, hardcore Ford guy. I asked him if he knew any tricks on how to seal up those dipsticks that go into the oil pan on a Ford. He said, live with it. And then when they put the oil level sending unit in them. That just added more to it. Another place to leak. The only puncture an oil pan should have is for the drain plug. Other than that, leave that poor thing alone. Oh, and I'm not even going to get into the new EcoBoost oil Ford oil pan. One-time use. An oil pan that is one-time use. You pull it off, you buy another one. Race cars don't have dipsticks in my garage. Good friend of mine bought a good acquaintance of mine, Blaine Hillman. He owns what is the name of his company? Anyway, he builds corn planters and he sends them all over the country. Anyway, he has a thing for Tri-Fi Chevys. He bought a 55 Chevy race car. It had a little turbo 400 in it that was all built, had trans brake, all of that stuff in it. But when he brought it into the shop, it had a dipstick on the transmission about that big, and you had to get under the car to get it. Why they even put the dipstick in it, I don't know, because you had to get in it, and there was one of those cable ones. Pull the dipstick and pull it out like this, up and around the headers. It's just impossible to check the tranny fluid in that thing. He bought it for the body and everything. He converted it from a race car back into a street car, and it's a pretty good looking car now. But yeah, it didn't have dipstick in it either. Well, that you could actually use or see. I had a couple oddball Chevys back in the day, but I had no problem fixing them because I was an oddball myself. Me too. In fact, going back to the dipstick thing, that brings back it was yesterday in the shop when I was over helping Dad. He brought up years ago, back when he was still in the city, had a car come in for an oil change, and it was making an awful weird racket. It didn't sound like a rod knock; it was more of a noise, and we could not find it. Looked down, and there was no dipstick. Got under it and pulled the pan, and sure enough, the crank had grabbed a hold because the tube that goes for your dipstick drops down and keeps your dipstick away from the crank. That was gone, and it let the dipstick come across and hit that crank, and the crank grabbed a hold of it, wound it around, and sucked that dipstick right in there. It was in there. Oh, what a mess. Oddly enough, it didn't hurt it, though. It just made a mess of everything. Cut it all out and pulled the dipstick out of the crank, and that was a heck of a job, but that was a little different. Dang, it's Mohawk. The guy that likes to give me crap. What's going on, Moak? Good to see you. Yeah, just like any of my lives, I got the little link posted up there. If anybody wants to hop on in, hop on in. We'll talk about anything or everything. Or you'll hear me just kind of rattle off all of these little brain farts that come out of my head. As I can think of them. And like I said, this is just kind of a continuation over from John's Creator Workshop thing. If you have any questions or anything about channel, how to maybe help improve, or just some advice in general, ask away. If I can't answer it, there's a whole bunch of people in the, well, there's 20 people in the live right now in the comments that can help you as well. Biggest advice to getting your channel going is content. Keep the content coming and try to keep it as consistent as you possibly can. I'll jump in. Give me a minute. You got all the time in the world, JB. All you're going to see is putting a pitman arm back on this trash. Pitman arm on an S10. Yeah, I've done quite a few of them. Even if it wasn't an S10 body that was still on it. I've used that chassis. Oh, that is a beautiful little chassis, especially the 4-wheel drive one. Those 2-wheel drives, they get a little tricky to use. The way those upper control arms on the 4-wheel drive, your upper control arms are parallel. On the 2-wheel drive, they like to pinch in like this, making anything on the back of the engine, like your exhaust, a real pain in the caboose. Just finishing up my homemade tacos. Oh, sweet. Have fun doing it. That's the number one best advice right there, too. If it ain't fun, try something else. Do something that's fun to do. Because if you're having fun doing it, it'll be easy. Oh, I hear you there, JB. Yeah. It's getting to the point that I'm starting to have a hard time reading a tape measure. And that's crazy, because I've been able to do that for a long time. A 32nd, even a 16th is getting hard for me to see. Unless I hold the tape way out there. Well, there was a money issue, but I'm on it. Yeah, nothing worse than when you realize you're actually getting old. And you notice it while you're sitting on the toilet, and you reach over and you pull up the Speedway or Summit catalog, and you open it up and oh, what? Then it's happened. Of course, anymore with all this digital screen and stuff, I imagine it's going to happen more and more, or for the younger generation, it's going to happen quicker. All that artificial light striking right in your eyeballs. well, look at there. What's going on, JB? Great to see you, man.
I'm flipping the phone around just to mess with everybody, man.
You're making me dizzy as all get out.
No, we just changed Pittman shaft seals. It took me a couple of weeks because I ran out of money, but I finally got that stuff in, and I ain't been on your live in a while, and I was like, hell, I'll jump in there for a little bit and let y'all see me struggling putting the Pittman arm back on.
Did you do the seal out the easy way?
Well, I tell you what was real easy. We was trying every way in the world to get it out. The next morning, I walked out there and got up under it, and it was all in the dang oil pan. I was like, oh, this is great. Now the question is, how did it just fall out, right?
I know as I take the Pittman arm off, yeah, I use a Pittman puller for that. But to get that seal out, you'd undo the retainer right down off of it just a little bit. Then you start it up. If it's power steering, you start it up and then crank the wheel.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. But the seals were looking so bad it was just shooting past the seals. Oh, dang, dude.
He's like 6 ATM trying to get it to spit.
Yeah. There we
Yeah,
go.
I've been there, done that.
But yeah, I mean, we're still playing with this thing, just doing. We're just doing our thing. That's it.
Or you get it down to that point and you're under there, and you're going to tell the person up at the cab to turn it just as you say, go. They do it, and oh, it fills your mouth full.
Yeah. LP's over here. I mean, LP's over here. He's cutting up tires. We're trying to get rid of tires.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I blame that crap on Mohawk because I never had this problem until they give me that damn tire changer. Now there's tires piled up everywhere. What's that? Mohawk don't understand nothing.
Ain't nobody understands the word to come out of your mouth.
The only thing he understands is he better have a crap ton of condensers, because he seems to be going through them quite a bit. I still say it's got something to do with coal, but that's for him to figure out.
I pressed a Chevy Pittman arm seal in with a forklift at work.
I worked on that thing last night. I bet it was 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning before I finally got that crap up in there. I thought it was, I got it up in there, and then the bottom still cocked to one side, and I'm like, oh, this is going to get interesting now, right? Oh.
Here we go. Let's go from difficult to
Maybe I bring the cutting torch out there and heat that. It'll slide up in there if I melt it enough, right?
Get that rubber nice and pliable, you know. Yeah.
That's right. Get that hot, dude. Everything will slide easy then, right?
I seen a guy do that with trying to do ball joints with a torch. Yeah, that ain't a good idea. That grease exploded out of there.
Oh yeah, like hot fire. But I hope everything's going good in your world, dude. And everything's going good around here. We're just fighting that darn orange fucking countdown that John's got.
The orange paper waits for nobody.
I'm going to get some of that crap and just burn it. So there you go. What I think about you, John.
That's good though. Keeps you motivated and keeps them goals rolling.
Yeah. If we can get through it this year, next year's not going to be an issue. Next year's, all right, let's start it up and take it, right?
Heck, that's why I started putting more content out about the rat rods because, well, if I go this year, it's going to be in one of them because none of mine are going very well.
Yeah. I get tired of fighting it. Every time I do something, next thing I know, I turn around, fire it up, and crap. Here we go again, right? So, you gonna make it to No Name this year?
Pushing for it.
What are you
Again,
doing?
it's all dependent on my dad's health.
Oh, yeah.
That's what shut me down last year, but
Yeah, I forget about how old your dad is.
yeah, he's a little more gray and a little less on top than I am.
Yeah. Well, people not doing, I mean, when you're doing like videos, John and them was talking about doing videos. I seen a guy with a shirt the other day, and I was standing at the Dollar General getting me some beer and cigarettes, stuff like that. And this guy had a shirt on. He goes, on the back of it, just remember, the person you meet today is going through worse crap than you have. Right? And I'm like, that is so damn true, dude. Oh,
Then the best way to get through hell is keep right on going. Don't stop. Just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Otherwise, that's where you're gonna stay.
exactly. Just keep on hitting it. Bang, bang, bang. We'll go.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Hey, if you do it right, like the song says, you can get through before the devil even knew you was there. So
I see you got the shirt hanging over the clock over there because I was always giving you crap a few times, man. That clock never changes.
oh no, one of these days I'll put a battery back in it. The remote needed a battery in it. I'm too cheap and too antisocial to go to town.
Yeah, hey, that's me, dude. I'm telling you, I hate dealing with people. Because I know.
I do everything I can to stay right here in my happy little town.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, man, I'm going to get up under this truck. I just thought I'd jump on here and talk to you for a minute. And I'm going to get up under here and y'all just do what y'all doing. And we'll see if we get this Pitman arm. If I can see good enough to get that Pitman arm back on.
You just got to line it up with the key.
Yeah. I mean, you know how they are. They got flat spots. And I
Yeah.
just can't see the flat spots.
4 of them, right?
Yeah.
It'll go on 4 ways.
Well,
That's a good, well, Ford Bronco works a little bit easier, but on those steering boxes, you can actually mount them sideways to stick your Pitman on the other side. And because it goes on 4 ways, you can put it on 180 out
yeah.
and run a straight axle off of them.
Yeah. Instead of the front steering, it's the back.
Mhm.
Right.
That's why I love them because you got multiple options. You got 4 different options on where you want to put it.
See, I've been around a while. I know all this stuff.
The Bronco one,
They'll
Ford
show up
Bronco,
in their car.
you got to take a die grinder and make your own key wig. Cut one of the teeth off, and then you can flip it around.
There you go. Hey, the steering wheel's out a little bit. Let me get up on there and do this. But yeah, I'm gonna go try to do this. Y'all do y'all's thing. But it's been a while since I've been on your channel. And I'm like, hey, I told Lars he's over there.
There he is. What's going on, Mr. Lars?
Not much. Out here sweating.
He's got you out there sweating. What the ever
I
living?
ain't got him doing
Right.
crap. He just looks at me and goes, "Dude, you need to get your ass out here."
Exactly. Good to see you, man.
But yeah, I hate that I've not get on live years in a while, and I was like, well, I'm always working on something.
I always see you in the chat, though. I know you're out there. It's
Yeah,
all
I'm
good.
just in the background going beep 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 beep, you know. How much crap can I stir up, right?
Just as long as you got a little sugar on the end of that spoon, go ahead and stick it in the pot and roll it around.
There you go. Hey, I got to use some sugar on the floorboard and there's a hole. I think that sugar will clog it up, dude.
Hey, that Jeep in my front yard that belongs to another guy, he built the whole floor of that Jeep out of RTV and cardboard.
Wait a minute. Magnifying glasses. Then, dang, Mohawk. That's it. That's it. I have a rich on this channel, but your ass is fixing to be out here, dude. Oh,
Or on a two-drive Chevy and drive. I have the bolts for Chevy Square, I know.
all right. I'm gonna jump up under this thing. I'll be talking to you. Oh, I gotta get my tripod. And y'all just carry on your conversation.
Yeah, no problem.
There'll be some work going on in the background. Little action movie.
Yeah. But Lord knows that Barrel's Garage hasn't gotten the metal hot in a long time, that lazy son of a.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see, hang on. I'm gonna let you start the tree for a minute.
That's a good looking tree.
Oh, screw them damn pine trees. Them calls me, this little truck, I moved it back. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, but this thing is covered in pine sap. And after all the buffing and cleaning and stuff with it, now we got to go back through it again.
Yeah. You get those long needles for days. I got a Sierra pine out front that just drops them like, oh.
LP did get the headliner out the other day.
There you go.
So we're an eighth of a pound lighter. Or 60, I don't know. Yeah, by the time we're done, this thing ain't gonna be nothing but a shell. And a 2.8 that runs about like a stock 350 should get it down the track about right. You know?
I don't care what they say. To be able to do that with a 2.8 throwaway engine, that is damn cool, man.
That's what I thought when I started working on it. I was like, well, this ought to be interesting for a few people, right? No, all I got was hate. Okay, whatever. The one that cracked me up the most, dude, I contacted the guy back. He was sitting there, he sat there and, let the comment and goes, I used to have a 2.8. It couldn't even merge onto the interstate. I said, well, you're talking about the wrong 2.8 right here, dude.
I haven't had that. You can pass cars on a highway with a 2.8. I've drove many of them.
Yeah, my little Blazer runs 80, 85, 90 mile an hour, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Sorry, what the heck are you talking about, dude? This don't make no sense.
Especially if you learn how to use that third pedal right.
Yeah. Oh, crap.
Clutch her and drop her and let her sing. Come in. Yeah.
Let her eat, dude. All right, I'm going to jump up in here. Y'all keep on talking about what you're doing, and I'll let you see what I've been doing, because it's been, like I said, a 2-week project. It was supposed to be 30 minutes.
Well, the good thing is it's a little shade under there.
There you go. Yeah, it's been hot as crap here, dude. I mean, hot. You don't believe me? Just ask LP.
That's right.
Peace. I got you.
We don't got a indirect connection in the house. What's going on, Jay?
Indirect. Man, I'm proud of that guy. He come out of his shell here lately when he done that, 30 shorts in 30 days. He's getting in front of the camera more and talking, and that's what it takes. I mean,
He's a heck of a cool guy, and
yeah.
got a personality that if he could, man, this YouTube stuff would launch for him because he's got a heck of a cool personality.
Yeah. I don't know what he thinks about me, but of course I'm the crazy one in the whole bunch. But
Yeah, it looks like the rain finally quit for you.
oh yeah, we're supposed to have rain here for the next week and a half, and I got bonfires to burn. I'm like, no, we're not burning that stuff up because the tree fell until we get some rain. So I might be stuck with that in my backyard for a while.
Yeah, today is the first day we had blue sky. It's been
Really?
pouring. All
Oh,
the
dude,
fires.
it ain't
Oregon.
rained here. I mean, actually rained in a couple of weeks, and they're still talking another week, which is not doing good for my tomato plant, but we'll make it through it. I got a water hose.
Yeah, my yard went. It's a nice shade of yeller.
Oh no, my yard's green as crap. I've been on my son. He's just, oh no, lawnmower tire keeps going flat. He's like, I can't make 2 rounds. It goes flat. I said, well, I'll pull the air hose out there, man. Make 2 rounds, air it up, just get it done.
Spent most of the day parting out the rest of the 70 Duster. Holy cow.
There you go.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's a 70 too.
I got
But
to
it's
catch.
a Lincoln.
I got to catch Lawrence. Somebody got to turn the steering column. I mean, steering wheel.
Finally got me another good short deck 460, but it's got a whole lot of Lincoln around it.
Well, as long as it's leaking, it's got oil in it. That's the main thing. When it quits leaking, that's when you need to worry. At least that's been my experience on these S10s.
There isn't a person in the chat that I don't respect.
Oh, badasses. Oh, no. 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 We're just the same as everybody else. Just common folk trying to get along, make it through this wonderful world we live in that is crap at the present moment.
I've caught a few bad basses. You know, they're only about yay big.
I caught some fingerlings, man. I don't know where Laura's went. I need somebody to turn the steering wheel. We'll
Those
wait on
little,
it.
little suckers when you're out bluegilling.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
maybe-
The worst thing is when you're out catfishing, all you're catching is bluegill. You know.
It's one of either way.
And you can't even catch a good one. They're all about that big. And then you cut them up, throw them out there for this is the thing that always cracked me up fishing. You cut them up and throw them out there to catch a catfish, and next thing you know, you caught another bluegill on the bluegill. Y'all guys are cannibals.
I haven't been bluegill fishing since I lived in Boise.
It's been, I sold my boat, so it's been a while since I've been fishing. But I'll get
A lot of fun on a little Eagle Claw feather light.
Yeah.
Boy, those little bitty hand-sized bluegill, they feel like a 30-pound cat.
Exactly. But we're gonna try to get this on here.
Yeah, looks like you got her there.
Yeah, well, I got it setting up on here. I just can't see to line her up. And Lars is in there doing his own thing. But y'all just do your stuff, and I'll get it on here.
Sure.
That's the only thing we like. Then we gotta clean up all this darn transmission fluid. It's power steering fluid.
You did have her spray in there, little.
Yeah, dude, it's a mess. But we're gonna get the no name nationals. If Buck does it, ain't gonna get off that dang easy. I'm gonna make him run that 455.
Mr. Large says you're doing good, but I ain't gonna tell you where he's at right now. Just keep going. You're doing all right.
I know where it's at, but I gotta keep getting up, turning the steering wheel. Ugh. But yeah, I still can't see it. I need a young guy. Where in the hell's Lars?
Your tires are all still on the ground?
Huh?
Are your tires on the ground?
No, I'm up on car ramps.
Oh,
Otherwise, you couldn't get in here. But the steering's straight. But we messed around with the steering, to make sure it wasn't leaking. So now I don't know where exactly this thing's supposed to be. But it should be pretty darn easy. I don't know. Somebody put some marks on here. Nah, we're off just a freaking hair.
can you reach the rag joint?
Not from where I'm laying.
Yeah, that's
I
good and
got
tight.
where you do. Just turn the steering wheel to.
I was testing the air conditioner.
You was testing the air conditioner.
Yep, it's working good.
Well, the air conditioner's working, guys. But I was smart enough to put some marks on here. Yeah, just turn the steering wheel a little bit, dude. Turn the steering wheel to the right, no, other way. There you go. Damn. Freaking piece of trash. I think it's dirt. I didn't bring a hammer. I gotta go get a hammer. You always gotta hammer something.
Yeah, fighting these fitting arms while the tires are still on the ground. They got traction on that. It can be a pain in the tuchus, yeah.
The trusty ball peen. Uh-oh. What?
The wheel's upside down, but the tires are straight.
Well, I don't know, man. Here we go. All right, well, put it where you think it is. Count the turns, man. Split in the middle.
Yep.
Start right there. Go to the other side. Count the turns. I think it's there. It is. I was wrong.
Hey, she's a moving. She's a moving.
Right. Let's get happy with it.
I'll just spit on it and let it happen.
Exactly. Let's get happy with it.
First time I heard you say that, man, I laughed for probably 2 days.
Hey, I already done it. Just spit on it. I got that saying from a comedian I watched. He got shot, but he was funny as crap. I can't remember his name. He said, hell, I don't spit on it. Just let it happen.
Old man is saying you better make sure the steering wheel's centered. Yep, Mr. Large is on it.
That's what we was doing, dude. Hey, Chris. Reach in there and get me that pipe. It's right by the door. Oh, wrong way. dumbass. I like never got this thing off of here. There you go. I
Well,
think
Vaughn
it's
heard you
180
and
pounds,
thought
right?
somebody was at his door.
I think it's 180 pounds. 2 foot cheater bar should suffice. I got 3 or 4 more turns, guys.
Yeah,
I
just
can't believe y'all just watching me struggle and not even show up to help.
pull on that until you hear a sound like Velcro and taste blood. Then you know you got it right in.
If I ain't 180 pounds, I just shit my pants. Oh, all right.
I see you painted the 2.8 high performance orange.
Oh, that thing's been that way for since I built it the first time. That was like 18 years ago. This thing's just been sitting around in the driveway. It's sat in the driveway for like 13 years.
Looks good that way too because it matches the truck.
And I wouldn't even have pulled this thing out and started doing it till the No Name Nationals came up. I would just let it sit there. Then all that come up. Hey, I got that broker in there. I think we can race this 2.8.
Like I said, nobody else has done so.
All right, let's get this thing down off the car ramps. Give us a minute. Hey, turn there and get them jack stands out.
Rob's Rods and Streetcars. What's going on, man? Good to see you.
My bad. Not the jack.
What's Jason been up to?
There you go. Give her hell, dude. That's it. Now let's get the car ramps out.
Hello, world.
Hey, it's Mr. Lars.
Poor form right there.
Damn thing's heavy. No. Well, no. Put that back up under there. You gotta do it 2 steps.
Oh,
I don't know.
careful, JB. Good Lord, be careful, man.
You're going too high, dude.
I say be careful, but I do stuff like that too. It just, yeah.
Ooh.
Get this mother lover on the ground.
She's squeaky.
Oh, I see. You had to block it, and then when you drop it all the way down, then the block is in the way. Yeah.
Do what?
You had the block in there to lift it up higher, but if you let the jack
Right.
all the way down, then you can't get the block out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I find that out after it's down.
Right.
Son of a bitch.
I lost my pennies. There she is, guys.
See, that was piece cake. Dutch Guy's Garage. What is going on, man? Good to see you. just walked out the barn after painting 73 lawnmowers. Talk about a lot of paint. 73 crew cab. Wow. This time of year, good night. You probably got to use some real slow dry.
Give me a minute. I'm gonna show you.
Heck, with the temperatures we got right now and the humidity, I could thin with mineral spirits
Right.
and still get a dusting. There she goes. Those rims really work on that truck. Those wheels look really good on there.
Yeah. I think they're sharp.
Usually not a very big fan of those turbine style, but that looks really good on there.
That's how the Dukes of Hazzard damn General Lee made all them jumps, man. Because of them wheels.
That S10's gonna fly now.
Do I?
That S10's gonna fly now.
Yeah, right.
I had the dehumidifier running all night with the AC cranked in the barn. Hey, Dizzy, what's going on, brother? See? There you are, right there. The angry vagrant.
All right, it's time to get this thing out of the wrecking yard because we're done wrecking it. I don't know.
I would have my No Name National shirt on, but yeah, I am dirty, dirty, dirty.
Well, I only got one of them, and it only lasts for 2 days. Hang on, guys.
John asked me what color I wanted, and I said, well, it don't matter. Whatever color you send, it's going to be black.
Yeah, by the time it's done, it's going to be black. All right. Who you think ought to pull this back around in front, me or Lars? I think Lars.
Ooh.
I mean, don't burn outs, dude. Don't do that. We got brand new tires on the back. We need them. What are you doing? Oh, hey, it's still under construction, dude.
Shut the door.
Tell me, hey, look, you messing with my tools. Hi. I found my darn phone holder.
I got the key.
Yeah, he's got the key, dude. All right, here we go. Let's see if it'll. Watch him run off with it down the road. Hey, you didn't drive a straight line?
Yeah, she's just a little on the cold side. She's coming in.
All right, guys, we're getting closer. If Lars keep her from dying. He got to go all the way out there to get in this little spot. Yeah, we still got some carb tuning, and we need a coil bag. The coil is just not right. But that little thing sounds good, man, for a 2.8.
She holding RPM all the way through, or
Huh?
is she coughing and sputtering on the other end?
No, when you get up about 4,800 RPMs, it starts getting static. You know, "Ah." And I seriously think it's cold. So when you get about a 60,000, whatever, 6,000, I knew it. I knew it. What I tell you? What I freaking tell you?
Temptation just took over. He's off to the races now.
Yeah, I won't see it for 2 or 3 days. Well, yeah, I've been having fun on this little project. I mean, it took us a couple of years, but I've been having fun with it.
That's what
Especially
it's all about.
The haters that come out of the woodwork. I'm like, dude, y'all just don't even freaking. Y'all just, there it goes again.
Why would you ever do that with that? Yeah, oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, what the heck is wrong with you? But like I said, next year we're gonna port the heads, stuff like that, and exactly see what we get out of it, and then I'll find a little 350 or something like that, stick down in the front of it, and do the spring changes and stuff like that. But why not play with a little 2.8 and look all these damn big block guys go, what the hell did I just see go down the track right there?
I don't think you'll have to do a spring change in the front.
Well,
They set back in there a bit, so if I remember right, you don't have to change because the 2.8 and the 4.3 use same springs,
yes. See, I didn't even think about that.
and the 4.3 pull
Yeah,
it out, drop 350 in the hole, and you're going.
Yeah, so it should be. Yeah, I got you. I didn't even think about that, man. But that's about. I don't know where the hell.
But then you lose the cool factor of playing with a 2.8.
Dude, he's 2 miles away from here. I hear him just giving it hell.
And the cool thing is, when you're playing with 300 horsepower,
Yeah,
make small changes, they feel big. You actually feel like you did something. When you're at 500-600 horsepower, you don't feel it like you did before with lower horsepower.
Man, this thing's around 280, 300 horsepower. That's all that little S10 needs. There you go.
And for asphalt, I mean, really, 300 is good.
Here we go. Another HOA letter. I see it coming right now. Now let's see if he can back it up.
Sweet. Almost as if he owned it. And that just sounds good.
Well, she's back out of the wrecking yard. That's all that matters.
It almost sounds like an airplane.
Oh, dude, Skip last year, he goes, you get down to the big end of that track, he goes, you can't tell that from a big boy. Yeah, that's what we were shooting for, right?
Must be a Cessna.
Must be a Cessna. Oh. But yeah, 2 weeks. We still got a few things to do in the interior. Like I said, the coil, power valve, and crap, I'm about done with it this year. Next year, we'll do some porting and playing around with the drivetrain a little bit more. That 410 under it helped out a bunch. So, all I got to say to Buck, dude, you better not fall asleep at the light because all you're going to see is a red dang streak.
You and Buck are going again, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a given.
That's so
a given. This year we have the whole goal between the race of me and Buck is he's got that license plate that says ST Neater on it. And I'm like, okay, dude, if I beat you this year, I'll get that dang license plate, dude. I get to have that for my own, right? And he's like, all right, JB, wishful thinking, but heck, we'll give it a shot. You know? But I'm laughing at all these guys. I know you probably remember, like the first and second year, everybody was calling everybody out, having a good time, just talking crap.
Oh yeah,
You know. And this year, everybody's like, well, I don't want to do that. I want
being kind of quiet.
Yeah, I'll throw myself in the ring. Look here, butthole. If I can't beat you, I'll freaking steal from you or something, you know.
If I can't beat you, at least I'll bloody your nose. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. I told Mohawk he was running his mouth, and so was Buck. I said, dude, you just remember, I'll stay up about all night while you're asleep. We'll change the odds in the morning. But there you go. We got that much done. Like I said, we got a few little other things. And, I think I'm going to flat toe that thing down there. I got to go this week and get a tow bar and stuff like that and get all that lined out and actually seriously mount it to the front of the truck. And I think that's what we're going to do. That way I got the S10 and the little trash truck down there. You know, two nice little S10s sitting next to each other. I think that'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
You know, but we ain't really. I just like the camaraderie.
That's
Right.
what the No Name is all about. The
The
cars racing is all
Yeah.
secondary.
Yeah, the racing I could. You know, I'm gonna get out there and try the bracket racing this year, but I really don't care.
Yeah, that's not what it's about. It's about
Yeah.
hanging out, having fun with your friends, and
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
pits,
dude,
you get all kinds of call outs right there in the pits. Hey, let's go. Okay, let's
Yeah,
go.
all right, yeah, all right, butthole, let's go. Let's go, assholeo. But this year I'm hoping to have my son down there.
Oh, way cool.
Hook him. I think that'll hook him. He's got that 96 Thunderbird 4.6, nice car. And he's wanting to race that, and I'm telling him, no, that's your daily driver. You don't race your daily driver, man. I said, if you want to race that, go, you know, I told him, I said, go find you something else as a daily driver. I said, heck, we'll pull that Ford back here, and I'll give you all the knowledge I have on the Ford, which ain't much. But I guarantee you I'll get you down that track pretty quick. You know?
Is that a modular or is that a regular Windsor?
See, that I don't know. All I know is a 4.6. I ain't done nothing.
4.6, that'd be a modular.
Yeah, I ain't done anything major to it, just besides getting it running so he could drive it back and forth to work. But we'll dig into it. I've contacted Andy Wood. He's a big finition.
I was just gonna say, yep.
You know, anytime you got a question,
inside and out.
so if he'll get him something else to drive, we'll light into that little 4.6 this next year. And of course, we still got this freaking Ford piece of crap that belongs to Lars. We're still waiting on the engine for that one.
That little Ford right behind you there.
Yeah. I told Lars, I said, dude, that'd be a nice little truck. Get it down off how high its stance is. Get that thing down on the ground, man. I said, dude, throw a 351 or something in front of that thing.
Oh yeah, even a 302.
Yeah. I said, we had some fun with that one too, you know. Because it is, I mean, it's a straight shift. I think it's a 5-speed. It's like, crap, we had some fun with that, dude. He's always fussing at me. Well, if I wouldn't spend so much money on these damn Chevrolets, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going.
That's why I say a 302, because a 302, you know, your Chevy prices then. You can build a
Yeah,
302
now-
almost penny for penny on a 350 Chevy.
Yeah, we're still, Alex at something garage. I don't know if y'all know him, but he bought. I think it's a Ranchero or something. Had a 351 in it,
Uh-huh.
and he just bought it.
Ones are a little more money, but
Yeah, but he just bought that thing. It was running and driving. He just bought that thing to cut the floor pans out of it to put in his Torino.
uh-huh.
You know, and he's like, dude, I wish somebody just come up there and help me get rid of this car. And I'm like, I
Bang,
know where that engine needs to go.
right there.
Right. So we're still playing with that. And he's got a built 302 sitting in his garage. He goes, I'd just like to give that to somebody. And I'm like, okay. We'll be up there.
Yeah. Join the Blue Oval.
Yeah. So, you know,
Then you can do exactly like I do. Oh, these goddamn Fords.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah. But we're just playing around with this kind of crap. And like the next one on the agenda, honestly, is Lars's. Because he's helped me out for 2 years in a row getting to the No Name Nationals. And I told him, I said, dude, it's time. You know, I said, we get all this finished up and, you know, forget the rest of it. And I'll throw some money at you and we'll get this thing back on the road, you know, have some fun with it. Then I got a pulling truck to get the car to the No Name National, right?
Oh, there you go. Oh, you got to put a gun rack in the window and put a couple fishing rods in the gun rack, though.
Oh, no, and just throw a 30-30 back there and it's like, yeah, mess with me one time, you know. Oh. But y'all seen what the heck we've been doing. I got a video I shot on changing that seal and stuff, but I've been playing with putting it out or not because it's long, drawn out, stupid crap, but it's still one of them, it might help some people out, you know, so.
It might take off. You have no idea unless it's out there.
So, you know, I'm like I said, playing with that, and I like to keep everything funny and, boy, heck, you know.
That's why I like watching.
Stupid crap, you know.
I watch them all. I can't comment on every single one. Always leave a like.
There's no way. I scan through YouTube and watch like you, John. I mean, everybody I know, and unless you're doing something really that pulls my attention, I'll comment. Other than that, man, you're getting a thumbs up and maybe one of them in the comment section. I'm busy doing what I need to do, but I watch you crap, right?
Do a video on it, Dizzy. Do a video on it, and you get a response. You just do it in the chat.
Yeah.
You're only getting out to so many people. So go out there and stand next to that angry vagrant and said, "Hey, Mr. Cope," pound on the hood, said, "Let's go."
Yeah, I got something
for you. Smile on there.
I got something for you. Just let me get my 5 gallon of oil out here. But Billy, I got something for you.
Mr. Cope, can you cope with the angry vagrant?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Can you cope with this?
And nothing else, you might get a few views on it and a few laughs. So it's all good. It all works.
Well, damn. Uncle Tony's live. No, thank you.
SSR Performance, what's going on? Great to see you.
All right, man, I want to jump out of here. I just want to jump in and say hi and mess around with you for a little bit. Because I ain't been on one of your lives in a while. So.
No problem.
We done what we had to do, and now it's time to fuss at the wife so she cook me a hamburger. But I got a funny feeling it's going to be me on the grill.
Hey, I'm batching it for another week. The wife's down in San Diego, so.
Oh, dang, you got it made.
Oh, yeah.
Until she comes back and goes, why ain't the house clean?
No, I got to hurry up and get this Lincoln out of the yard. That's what's got to happen.
Oh.
I brought another one home.
But I'm going to jump out here, man. Y'all have a great night. Everybody enjoy this live. Like I said, I'll get back in more. I've just been...
No problem.
I've just been working, and I'm just like, no, I ain't. I'm tired. I don't want to get in there and do that. But today was so.
I noticed that ever since I've gone to Sundays, people are a little bit light on coming in.
Yeah, well, that's the only day they got the rest.
Timing, I'm sure it's just timing.
But I'm gonna jump out of here. Like I said, everybody have a good day, good night. When y'all watching this, and watch out from loose lug nuts, because there's one. Wait a minute, over there. Y'all take care.
There's the loose lug nut. What's going on, Dugster?
Everything's good except for the nut loose behind the wheel. It's going good. And Steve JB was jumping off, so I thought I'd jump on.
While the cat's away, the mouse will play. Yeah, and I found out that a 70 Lincoln is too big to fit in the chicken coop. So, yeah, I got to hurry up and get that transmission out of there and get it out of
That's
here.
still a big car.
So what you been working on,
small.
Doctor?
Nothing much, really. I think that a 70 Lincoln is smaller than like a 65, but not much.
Weight-wise, they're about the same.
Oh, okay. I was thinking dimensionally.
Track width, I think, is the same. The Mark was a pretty good-sized car. That's what
Mark
this
was
is.
a pretty good sized car. I like Mark 1s and Mark 2s, and I'm not a Ford guy.
Neither am I, but I just it's the ones that I can afford.
Right. I get that. It's what I got.
This one was get it out of my yard. So shoot.
If it's free, it's definitely worth saving up for.
And I already sold the rest of the car for $200. So
All right. Need to come across a deal like this once a week.
come to find out, the interior in that is almost identical to a T-Bird of the same year.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The interior in this car is mint. So Landon needs it for his Thunderbird. So
Nice.
gonna buy a
those
couple of
cars
cans
do
of
have.
that rattle can upholstery dye it
Yep.
black, and put it in.
Boy, that stuff doesn't last long. It doesn't take long at all, and then the whatever color is over will start peeking through.
This is almost black. It's really dark blue. So
Okay.
maybe it'll hold it.
I helped a guy dye his interior on his 73 Chevelle, and it was a green interior, and we interior dyed it, and it wasn't till the end of summer when we started seeing green cracks all over the place. It was peeling off. Yeah, it was. Man, we were so proud of ourselves when we got done. We're like, yeah, this looks great.
Good.
Yeah, it looks good. Not long. No.
What color did you paint it or dye it?
Oh, black.
Black.
He sprayed the car. The car was green on green, and he painted it. He wanted it black on black, so he shot it black, and then we dyed the interior black.
Green interior. I just never did like that.
It was a sign of the times, though.
Oh, especially that baby puke green. Oh,
There were some really great greens out there, though. You
British
get the right
racing.
tone of green or the frosty greens. Those look pretty cool, but yeah, there was some pretty terrible greens out there.
69
I always
Chevy mint green. Oh, ugh. Oh, looked like somebody puked up Pepto-Bismol with a. Oh yeah, ugh, yeah.
Yep.
That's just a nasty one.
There were some bad browns too. There
Unfortunately,
were some
Dodge had a
really
few
good
of them.
browns.
Oof.
There's a guy in my area who has a root beer barrel or root beer colored 70 full size Bronco. What would that be, 78?
Yeah.
And it's cream and root beer brown metallic, and that thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's got the big belt line stripe around the main body, and then it has a root beer brown center. And boy, it really turns heads.
Either that or the gold for the light color. That looks really good too. I've seen a few of them done that way.
Like Herstolds, white and gold. That
Yeah.
does look good. Black and red always contrast nice. Black and yellow, if not overdone.
Yeah, you get too far, it starts looking like a bumblebee.
Yeah.
And
There
then, like
is-
that greens, like British racing green with that heavy metallic in it. That is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. I think my Jensen Interceptor would have to be in British Racing Green. If I ever
Or
were to have
68,
one.
69 Mustang. Yeah. Build a
Yeah.
bullet.
Yeah. You drive the Mustang, I'll drive the Charger. Chase me. The fun facts on that scene is they didn't ask for permission, they asked for forgiveness. They just picked a day and did it in the middle of the day.
San Francisco.
Yes. Ripping through town. So everything traffic wise that you're seeing is not been staged. That's just, John and Claude headed back from the diner, and yeah, here comes this green Mustang and a black Charger ripping through downtown, jumping through the intersections.
Uh,
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. And then the action shot, all the sound is actually from a racetrack. So everything where they're standing on it, most of that, all that is like recordings from a racetrack.
Yeah.
Which is too bad.
I know the Mustang is actually a 428.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, when he puts that thing in reverse, it punches it and just rolls, just smokes the tire in reverse. You're like, wow.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. The original Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind the new one either.
Yeah, the remakes don't ever have the same, you can pay homage, that's great, thank you, but at the same note, I mean, the remake wasn't that good. The remake of Gone in 60 Seconds, not that good.
It was all right, but yeah.
And then it causes confusion because we have guys calling the 67 Shelby as Eleanor, and that is not Eleanor.
Nah, that's a mock.
Yeah. Eleanor is like a 72 or 73 Mustang fastback, gold and brown.
I should know what it is.
I think it's a
we
73.
call them the flatbacks because they're so fastback.
Yeah.
So
it's a fastback. That's more like a sunroof on that car. Yeah. And what's even funnier is that the window is just about the same width once it's laying on its angle as the rear view mirror. You're not seeing anything out that rear view mirror.
That's why they put those louvers on it.
Oh yeah, the louver.
It hit it, and you can't see nothing out of it. It's just a white glare.
Yeah. The pizza shop that I worked for, the owner had a white and light blue Shelby GT350 or whatever it was. I think his brother just striped it as such, made it look good and striped it as such. But it had a red interior and it had a rim blow steering wheel. And one day my Dodge Dodge Shadow broke down and I needed to take pizzas on delivery. And he actually went, take the Mustang. I'm like, Okay. Because we usually had this shitbox Chevette that he drove to college. And it didn't have a passenger seat. It didn't have a back seat. It was held together by duct tape and the grace of God. And that car was down too. So he's like, "Oh, you're going to have to take your car." My car wouldn't start. And then he made me take this Mustang.
Did you get a lot of tips?
Yeah, I got a nice car. Hey, nice car. Next guy goes, "Johnny let you drive this Mustang?" Yeah, both the cars are down.
Good
Because
friend of
everyone
mine
knew everyone.
for Domino's in a 61 or 62 Rambler.
Okay.
He picked it up for $1,500, and it was in immaculate shape, shiny red. It was beautiful little car, but it was a Rambler. Nobody wanted it.
Right.
And he used to deliver pizzas in that. And he said that was the best car to deliver pizzas in because everybody would give him tips. He said I made more money on that car than any other.
Yeah. Well, look at he's got it. It's a nice car, but goddamn, it's older than frig. Here, bud, buy yourself a better ride.
You still can keep that thing running here.
You still
Here,
keep that pile running, dude. Here's extra 10.
Tree on the tree, you know.
Oh yeah.
But it was
Everything's great till the old girl falls down. It'd be hard as hell to find parts for her.
Yeah, they're easy if you know what you're looking for because
Yeah,
they use
true.
parts from everything. Had a Motorcraft distributor in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. All manufacturer content,
Yeah.
AMC.
The carburetor on it was Carter and it had a Mopar Star on it.
Oh yeah.
Everything on it was just mismatched, weird.
Yep. Lower control arms are for like a 55 Ford passenger car, but the upper ball joints, they came from a 1970 Chevy Suburban. What the worst one I had was a friend had a Grand Wagoneer, and it was actually a really nice ride, and smoked the brakes on it. Asked me to do a brake job. Sure. I go, it's like a 1980 Grand Wagoneer. Go to the auto parts store. Guy looks in the book and he goes, "Do you have the VIN number?" No. He goes, "What month was it made in?" I'm like, "It's a 1980 Grand Wagoneer." He goes, "There's 8 suppliers for that year for brakes. What month was it made in?" Okay. Come back and end up being Kesley Hayes brakes.
Geo Metros are that way too.
Oh,
Your
just
brake
whatever.
job, you have to know where they were made and what year, because they use different brakes on either one.
Oh, great.
Same year.
Yep.
Of course,
Yeah.
I got the Ford in there too, the 302 Ford, 2 distributors, same year.
Yep.
One's about that much longer.
Understand. Just enough to really put a wrinkle in your day.
That's the difference between an SO and an HO. But
SO standard output.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ones with the goofy firing order. Regular firing order.
The HOs do have a different firing order.
154 something 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 something.
I'm still happy I'm playing with 1483657 I can remember that. But the right Ford firing order, if you number a Ford like a GM or a Chrysler, the right Ford with the right firing order will be changed over to 1843657. Just Ford, for whatever reason, had to number the passenger front plug as number 1.
Yep.
And actually, it's like the whole passenger bank is 1 through 4, correct? That's what I
Yeah,
thought,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
which
The
is
only ones
just
that do that. All Mopar goes side to side like a GM, right?
like a GM. Yes, they have the same GM. Well, at least small block Chevy has the same. Yeah, I think all GM is 1843657
All GM, no, LS changed.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, in the classic era, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because I think that the LS went with the 4.7 swap. So I think it's 1673. Yeah, 4.7 swap,
And
whatever that would be.
you can get the cam to change a regular small block to that firing order too.
Right. You have to use the cam to and utilize it. You can't just trade spark plug wires and call it a day.
What's it gain?
It's like 3%.
Yeah, if you're looking for every little ounce, then yeah, it's worth it. But
Well, David Vizard made a point. He goes, yeah, that's kind of diminishing gains. And then he spoke of, 2 here, 1 here, 3 there. That's 5. So
yeah,
eventually it all adds up. And he says, if you're going to be buying a cam anyway, and you're going to be ordering it from Comp Cams, why not just, they'll do that 4.7 swap for free. So you're
yeah.
buying a new cam anyway. So why not just get the free upgrade for 3% more? Okay, that made perfect sense.
It keeps the back tube from sharing, if I remember
Well,
right.
the problem with it is that because in your current standard firing order, you have cylinder 5 and cylinder 7 that fight because one
Yeah,
lights off before the other. So they're
and
the
it's
two
like,
legendary fighters. But when you go do the 4.7 swap, the fight now goes over and it's 2 and 4 that fight. So you
but
didn't
not near as
eliminate the problem. You just you shifted it over to the other side of the engine. And then there's tricks to combat that with the intake ports.
yeah, and they're spread apart more, so it doesn't fight as bad. Whereas those
Right.
two on the other side, they're right next to each other, so it'll rob the pulse from the other one, or
Yes.
back
Yeah, because
pressure. Pulling.
one's already releasing the pressure wave and the other one's trying to light off and it's actually starving the other cylinder.
Yeah.
Just fascinating stuff.
You get into that depth, yeah, things get fun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very, very. Like who'd ever thought that reversion could happen with like side draft carburetors and stuff where you just watch fuel just coming out the backside of the carb. I've been watching stuff on hot vapor cycle engines too, and that's interesting.
Hot vapor?
Hot vapor cycle, like what Smokey Unick was doing with like the Pontiac Fiero Iron Duke and 2.2 Chrysler also. Superheating the intake charge because when you superheat it, it actually creates like 4.4 psi of natural boost as it's heated, so that you have a heater on the air intake, like a waffle heater on the air intake, so it's warming the air entering the chamber. Then you have an air intake tube leading to the carburetor, but that's jacketed by exhaust. Then you have your carburetor by itself, not in the heat jacket. And then you have another intake tube on the other side that also has a exhaust jacket around it. So hot exhaust is going across both these intake tubes. Plus there is a turbo, but it's called like an emulsifier or something like that. What it basically is doing is it does step it up from 4.5 pounds of boost to 12 pounds of boost, but it makes sure that the air is going towards the cylinders because otherwise there's no way to stop it. And then the 4.4 PSI will go always, including out the air intake. because when it pressurizes and becomes dense, it wants to go everywhere. So the turbo, the emulsifier, is what's actually responsible for blowing it into the cylinder
Cylinder. Huh.
at 12 psi. And it's so super hot that it's now molecularly atomized.
What do you got to do with
And
timing to keep it from pre-detonating? Where it's
good
you know
question.
super hot like that, you'd run into it ping like crazy.
I forget what the actual temperature was, but they were looking at like, well, 90 degrees Celsius, so that's actually pretty hot.
Huh.
It was I'm just watching just some of this. He's only skimmed the surface. I'm only on the intake side, and I'm still already going, wow, this is interesting. It's very interesting.
I've never
So,
messed with anything that technical.
well, the idea behind the hot vapor cycle is to not take the heat and dissipate it into the atmosphere like we're used to, but hang on to the heat and keep it inside and store it. In a hot vapor cycle engine, you glean heat from the exhaust 3 times before it's actually sent down the tubes and to exit the vehicle. So keeping the heat in is what you want.
And off the carburetor, so you don't
Right,
boil out.
and off the cart, which I don't understand how you. Well, it's got to run warm itself.
That's a little easier because it's hanging off, and you're not getting all the residual from being in the valley.
Right. It's fascinating stuff. They actually
Off the
they were
exhaust off the intake, you have to actually pipe heat to them. You can't
right.
run them cold.
Yeah, it's fascinating. They were running the cars with no emissions stuff on them, and they were doing emissions checks, and the cars with no emissions on them and all were coming in under emissions standards of the era with no emissions stuff on it. And Smokey was allegedly getting 75 miles to the gallon with the Fiero, but David Vizard makes a very good point. At what speed?
Yeah.
Yes. Because, we could tool around at 35 and really pull in some great mileage, but who realistically can drive 35 everywhere and keep up with modern traffic? He says, now drive that like you would your regular car and achieve that. And he makes a good point.
A good friend of mine, he lives just around the corner from my dad. He made a car run on a pop can. He uses the hydrogen peroxide with the aluminum to create hydrogen gas, and then he burns that through the carburetor.
Okay.
He did make it work. It would start and run, but it didn't have enough horsepower to pull itself up out of the driveway. That kind of, you hear a lot about this, hydrogen work, burning hydrogen for a fuel. Yeah. Well, like Daryl will say, he hates it every time I bring it up. He says, that thing didn't work. It did run. And if you pushed it and got in it, it would get moving, but it didn't have enough power to pull itself.
I think what it ends up being is it just didn't have the BTUs as like gasoline or whatever. So if he was able to,
it's too volatile. All your energy is done, boom, that fast, and it's done.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you get the power stroke. It goes about halfway down the stroke while it's burning. Hydrogen, boom, it's done. It's gone. And then it's got nothing.
So it comes to the party too soon.
Too hot. Yeah.
Too hot to the party.
Like putting black powder in a smokeless.
I know all about the black powder. There was an old blacksmith, or not blacksmith, gunsmith that was in my area, and he would sell black powder, and his powder safe was a old Child Killer refrigerator in his garage.
An old Kelvinator.
Yeah, old Kelvinator. I think it was a Kelvinator, to be honest with you. And
Did you drive
yeah,
a
it was
Kaiser
in.
or a Nash?
Yeah, was it an AMC or was it a fridge? We don't know. It could have been one of both.
Because they were
But
tied
yeah,
together.
it was in the very back of his shop, away from everything else. So in case if something bad were to happen. But yeah, he'd sell pounds of powder out of that. And he talks about how he bought it because the guy had it all for sale, the fridge and everything, for X. And he said, that's a deal. They bought it, loaded it into his Chevy pickup, and brought it to the house. Imagine hauling that thing. And he says back then it was probably 25% full when I bought from him, and he said that thing was to the brim full when he brought it home.
When I worked at Fanning Wholesale, sporting goods place,
Okay.
our black powder keg, it was on a big steel safe, and it was hidden from the public where it was at because the back side of the safe, where it was up against the wall, was nothing. It went right straight to, it was a steel-sided building, but it was just the steel siding. So if anything happened and it detonated,
It would
just
go
straight
out.
instead
Yeah.
of in.
Yep.
That stuff is pretty
Smart.
spooky,
That's-
especially if you got a whole bunch of it.
Yep. Well, old
Smoke
farmers
was-
would talk
was
about.
plywood, 3/4 inch plywood bins.
That's a really smart idea. Failure in mind. Old farmers around here talk about if you had dynamite, the safest place for it to store it, under your bed.
Oh, there's a guy there in my hometown that, oh Lord, when he passed away, they went in to clean his house out. And yeah, he had 2 cases of dynamite under his bed, and it was green and fuzzy.
Yes.
They had to call in the bomb squad. They evacuated the town. Oh man.
Are you
I don't
sure
know
that
how long he had
was here in Michigan? Because I've heard of that stuff.
This was in Basalt, Idaho. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh
Where you see it and the stuff sweating.
yeah. It's got
Yeah.
green fuzz on it. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Well, one of the active well, never mind.
What are you doing, Elbrook?
Oh, Periscope.
He's got a question.
Tuna acquired. It's over here.
Go chase Holly. Get out of here, Elbrook.
I used to have an all black cat. His name was Tyson, and he was a really cool guy. Well,
Yeah,
as a
this
matter
is-
of fact, see that we're doing show and tell.
This is Eddie.
That's Miles.
He gets mad when I show off his fingers. He's got thumbs.
Was he a multi-toed cat?
Yeah, he's a Polly. I got another one. It's kind of a calico one. Oh, she's fatter than hell, so I named her Holly.
Because she's richer than Bill Gates.
Yeah. She's my shop sweet. She's got thumbs too.
Oh, nice. We had my cousin Nancy had a cat named Bigfoot, and Bigfoot was exactly that. He had like 8 toes per foot,
Yeah.
and they weren't just like the extra claws like in between. I've seen those where you get like 2 extra claws between your thumb and your forefinger, but Bigfoot actually had like 6 or 7 toes per foot.
Yeah. That's how he is. Looks like a thumb. And he uses it as a thumb too.
Heck yeah.
It's weird.
like-
As
When
soon
he
as
says,
he
"Hey,
learns to drive, he's going to
it's
take
weird."
over the world.
Are both your cats still 4-wheel drive?
Oh yeah.
Do they have the
Oh, yeah.
claw? Yeah. Yeah,
They,
Miles is
they have a
2-wheel
job.
drive.
They have a good job out here in the country keeping all the mice out.
Miles just is the great white hunter of the house. Amazingly enough, he will still catch mice. I've seen it. And I never understand that one. See what I did? Here's what I did. I have a gift for you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Unfortunately, he
rat.
likes
See,
birds too.
right here.
Or when he brings a squirrel in the house, that's fun.
Right? Yeah. Or a little bunny.
Yeah, if I have rabbits screaming in the back of the room, that
Right.
freak the
Yeah.
wife
Just
out.
screaming too.
I
Good
like it. I don't know what happened to all the rabbits though. I used to have cottontails everywhere out there, but past couple of years I haven't seen any. I think the coons have got them.
A lot of coyotes out there.
Nah, not down here.
Okay.
You go up onto the hills, which is 15 miles up, then you start running into them.
Okay. Depending on the area, coyotes can be a problem here in Michigan. Well, they don't have a higher predator. There's no more wolves around here, so they just kind of reign supreme.
What's bad is you start getting coy dogs. That,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Coy dogs, coy wolves. Well,
Once
they used to be mortal enemies, and then now it's kind of like, hey, I'm not supposed to like you, but you're all right.
How about you?
So, hey,
Come over and see me sometime.
hey, Lady Wolf, you ever got down with a coyote? I did catch the Roadrunner,
Um, 3 times. You got him 3 times. I've actually got the. Let's see if it picks it up there. Wile E.
Ooh.
Coyote tattooed my arm.
Super genius. I like the sound of that. Wile E. Coyote.
I used to have coyote stuff everywhere. Somewhere I've got an original 1960s figurine thing of him. Real goofy looking because, like I said, it was from late 60s.
Yeah. Cool stuff, though.
I like coyotes. They're the only other animal that has no environment, and they can survive anywhere, no matter what nature
Yep.
throws at them. They
And
will find a way to survive and thrive.
And they work together. They can see really good. They can smell really good. They move in packs. Yes, we've tried to go hunt them in the past, and yeah, you'll just chase them around an entire woods. Wherever you are, they're not. And yeah, we tried to pursue them and see if we could at least get a visual on them. Not happening. Not at all. Where we were, we'd go into the woods. They'd come back. They'd be where we were, ran all through it because we'd circle back and come back. And then there'd be all these paw prints all over our area. They were checking us out. That'll be all right, Dizzy.
And they
Fred
kind of
Maloney's
taste
good.
like the neighbor's dog, so I don't hunt them much.
Back when I was young and adventurous. Trying to go out and get thrill.
That used to be, oh, and on the the lava flows. They're all over on the lava flows, just on the other side of the river from me.
Okay.
But you go out there, it's pretty much walking only. A lot of deep crags and
Oh, yeah, they're old lava flows.
yeah,
I could see that. Probably isn't much out there.
nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
Sounds like it. So what lives out there? Obviously, there's enough food source for coyotes to live, so there must be a lot that lives out there.
Jackrabbits. We used to go out there. That's where we did all of our jackrabbit, cottontail hunting, marmots, weasels.
What's
all
an
kinds.
average size jackrabbit in
Yeah.
Idaho? How big? How many pounds?
The jacks you can get about, I don't know. I never weighed one out. Back legs about like that.
Oh, okay. About the
Pretty
same
good
size as
size.
the Michigan rabbit then.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if they just got bigger out west or something. Did you
Cottons
ride them
will
like
get
horses or?
Cottons will get about the size of a small, like a piglet.
Yes. Yeah, Michigan rabbits get that big too.
Jackrabbits, though, they're just lean and wiry, and
Right.
they get tall.
They're cool. I like them when they get all in full tilt and they're running through the deep snow and they're all stretched out and they look like they're 2 feet long when they're all torpedoed out.
Mountain hares, we get them. Them get big. Those get real big. And in the wintertime, they turn white like a snowshoe hare.
Oh yeah.
Now we've got some of them that are a good 4 foot long when they're all stretched out.
Yeah. Big old animals. Those ones will put the hurting on your guard and think the little guys will. Holy wow.
You go up into the Sawtooth, you see them. Hey, what's going on, Cousin Mike? Speaking of torpedoed out, howdy.
Hey, cousin Mike. That little Geo that Mike picked up for his daughter and that little Honda scooter, that was a great package deal.
Good Lord, yeah. You got to get out and find them. Those estate
Oh
sales.
yeah. Oh
Never-
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, like he said, that's not the car for me, but my daughter will like it. Yes, she will.
An automatic 3-cylinder Geo. Yeah.
Me and my friend Walter changed the engine, pulled the engine out by hand to change the clutch and put it in by hand. Complete.
In what? About 3 hours?
Three-cylinder Geo Metro.
Yep. I tell everybody, actually, it is probably one of the best cars of the 90s because of that.
Yeah.
And how much did the clutch cost you? $50?
I didn't have to buy it, but yeah, probably. Yeah.
And they're super cheap. They're
Beautiful.
super
The
easy.
motorcycle clutch is essentially what it is.
Nothing
I
on
think
them is complicated.
Right. I think the 10-plate the 10-plate clutch that's in my Honda Valkyrie is probably more of the clutch than it was in that 3-cylinder Metro. Yeah, my Valkyrie's got a 10-plate clutch in it. Wow.
Yeah, I had it down to where I could have one in the shop, yank the engine, drop another one in it, set it, and have it out the door in less than 3 hours. And I work pretty slow.
Wow. So
They are just so simple.
3
Yeah,
hours,
cherry pick.
3
I'm
hours
not doing
taking
it
your
all by
time. Wow. So what do you think? What do you think if you could do it in 3 hours taking your time?
Oh,
What do you
especially
think
if you
you
do the
could do?
transmission with it. If you do the transmission with it, it's even faster.
Wow. So what do you think you could do like all the beans, full power, go. Hour?
Pushing it, pulling one. No, easy too.
Okay.
Easy, and that I would be pushing hard to do it in two with
Okay.
everything. That's
That's
actually
working
using
alone too.
air ratchet. Oh yeah, by yourself.
There was like an engine building competition where all they had to do was assemble and run a 350 Chevy, and two guys just spanked one together in next to no time. It was ridiculous. It was like less than half an hour.
One of my favorite channels on here is My Vintage Iron. My
Okay.
Vintage Iron 1407, something like that. It's a bunch of numbers. He's a machine shop, and he tells you, all kinds of tricks and stuff like that. Great
Right.
channel. Excuse me. But in one of his videos, he's talking about his prior stuff, and he used to work for, he never said the name of the company. I'm thinking it was Blueprint, though, from where he's at and everything. Doing, just line work. That's when you got an engine in front of you, you assemble it and send it right on to the
Right.
next one.
Okay.
He said he could get it down to, I don't remember how much he said, but it was within hours on one. But he said, working here in my shop, I never, ever would do one like that.
Yes.
But in a factory line setting, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he probably figured out all the ways to cheat.
Do you double your torques? Nope. You just run them in.
You traded the scooter for a blunderbuss? Oh, I so want the blunderbuss. Blunderbusses are cool. Are you gonna use the blunderbuss, cousin Mike? That'd be even better. That's almost as good as Elwood Blue saying he traded the Cadillac for a microphone. I lift the car.
You might wear blue wool, but you're still all right.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm a union guy. I'm a Yankee. I believe that's what they.
Good to see you, Mohawk. Have a good one.
Bye, Mohawk. Yeah, blunderbusses are cool.
Actually, Idaho has a lot of Confederate history. The old veterans home in Boise was built for the veterans of the Civil War, the
Okay.
Confederates. They brought them all from there to Boise, Idaho,
Of all
so they
places.
could blend in and, not get harassed as bad as, back there.
The GAR.
Clear until the 70s when they finally condemned it and they had to tear it down.
Wow. Well, the GAR. That's my dog. Ruby. That's enough.
Coolest thing about a C4 transmission is it separates from the bell housing. So if you bust the bell housing, you just change it out. You don't have to change the whole transmission.
I know nothing about Ford automatic.
But it's
Nothing.
the only one, or the only one worth mentioning. The C5 did that too, but we don't talk about the C5. That's quite
Yeah, we don't talk about those no more. I know the C6 is a tough transmission, but takes a boatload of power to turn.
Yeah, a lot of it. They're hard to tear up, but they're just as hard to turn.
the transmission that 2X Jeff built for his
Rowdy.
Thunderbird is a C6, and that thing's a bad mamma jamma, including an actual broader performance valve body.
Yeah, they kept Richmond under siege for good Lord ever.
That's right.
Good to see you, Colleen. Tell Damien hi. M3. How do you find that key on the keyboard?
I know, like on my number pad, if you go to the number pad and then you press, like, we'll say 3, and then another menu will pop up, and then they have fractions like 3/4 or
Really?
3/16, or yeah. So instead of
never knew that
actually having
before.
to type that out,
I wonder if mine does that. All it says is page up.
okay. Yeah, on my keypad, if I go to number 3 and hold it, another menu comes up, and I have my choice of fractions that start with 3.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try that. If I did it now, it'd probably screw up the live, but
Right?
I'll suck us all into
It'll
the
take
third
you 6
dimension.
months to relive again because you've angered the YouTube gods.
Hold my finger down on the 3, it might skip ahead 3 days.
Oh,
That's
he's done
bad.
it now. Sequence initiated. What do I do?
Welcome to Skynet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no!
Holy shit.
Push 4.
Please enter launch codes now.
I'll just have a look like this on your face.
I just wanted 3/16, dude. That's all I wanted. Doug talked about it. It sounded cool, so I tried it. Oh, sure. Blame me.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, we all are.
I guess you are. In other words, Brother John is saying that the South will rise again.
Oh yeah, and a C6 too. Yep, it'll suck out all that. Oh, and your cylinders will be spot clean. I mean, just polished nice.
My friend bought a 2-door Chevy Caprice, and it had that weird back window in it. It was similar to like a
67?
Monte Carlo. No, newer than that, late 70s. It had the weird back window in it, like a Monte Carlo Aero Coupe, but it wasn't as big, if you know what I'm talking about. So it's late 70s, I want to say. 2-door Caprice. And it smoked like a banshee while it was in drive. It wouldn't smoke at all in park. Like, it was a beautiful car. It was silver and black. The sides were silver. The whole top of the car, from the pinstripe line up, was black. So the whole top of the car was black. The hood was black. The front of the nose was black, and it had silver sides. And that car was awesome. And he bought it for next to nothing because it smoked. The old man thought it was no good, and he changed the modulator out or something like that. Yeah. And topped up the trans.
That has misdiagnosed so many cars. Yeah.
Yep. But then again, like, I'll tell you what, when he first drove that thing home, there wasn't a mosquito to be seen in the county for about 3 hours.
And if you pop them heads off and pull them valves, they'll be nice, look like brand new.
Oh, I bet. All that detergent going across them. Oh, baby.
That's how I used to do a carbon cleanup. Cars that have been lugged their whole life, idled around.
Yep. Heck, on my Honda Valkyrie, the engine makes enough torque to where I can leave it in fifth gear and still be rolling at like 20 miles an hour, and I can feed on the throttle and she'll just pull herself right up to cruising speed, no problem. Has the torque, we'll do it. But I figured out she
Is
doesn't
it
want
straight
to do
inline
it.
four?
No, it is a flat opposed 6.
Oh, okay.
This is a Honda Valkyrie road bike.
You got a Corvair.
Liquid cool though. It's liquid cool, but yeah, and it's overhead cam. But yeah, I have a Corvair. Or do I have a Porsche Boxer?
Corvair sounds better.
I don't know. Porsche's pretty fast. But yeah, the thing makes a gob of torque. And I've learned it used to always get like 33 miles to the gallon, no matter what. Run premium in it, 33. Run mid-grade in it, 33. Run regular in it, 33. Drive it out on the highway, 33.9. Drive it in town, 33.1. And it was always getting 33, but I was lugging it all the time. So this season, I ride it differently. I keep the gear low and I keep it up in its happy spot around 2,000 RPM. I picked up 4 miles per gallon. I'm now getting like 37, 36, 35 by
You're up in
just
sport. Yeah.
right. Utilizing the horsepower, making it happy, not lugging the hell out of it. So yeah, I thought that was being efficient. Nope, it's got a happy spot, and that's where she wants to be.
Yeah, that's where most people lose it on the dyno. You know, they always look at the red line, the horsepower number. You got to
Right.
look at that blue one too.
Well-
That's the key to it right there.
Torque is horsepower, especially on the
Yep.
street.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, that thing will make 1,000 horsepower at 9,500 RPM, but how often are you going to be twisting her into that zone?
Exactly. And who wants to hold it that long?
Yeah, no kidding.
That was a good one. The modular valve on an automatic. Yep. Oh, that
Yep.
brought back some memories. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just that thing would smoke like all hell in gear.
I've come
And it
across
was a-
those ones, or I'll say this one for $500, but it needs a transmission. You
Yep.
get it home, and then you crawl under it, and the coolant line's rubbed against the starter and rubbed a hole in it, and it's just puking the tranny fluid out.
Yes.
I can't count how many times that's happened.
Yes.
Put
Or
another coolant line on, top it off, boom, you're back up and going there. Oh man, I sold it to you for that.
one of my favorites is transmission's done. No gears, none at all, no forward, no reverse, nothing. It doesn't work. I'll sell it to you for $500. The guy brought it home. He dropped the pan, cleaned out all the sludge and schmoo and poo that was in the bottom of the pan, put a new filter in it and 6 or 7 quarts of fluid, and she took off and drove. That's all he did. Was
Does
change.
Mopar have a drain plug on their torque converters?
Some do,
Some do.
some do, not
I've
all.
heard
Some.
that they do, but I've never seen one. Ford does.
Yeah,
Chevy
sometimes
doesn't.
a stock Mopar torque converter will have a drain plug in it.
That's so nice. You go to pop that open, roll it around, pull that, drain all of it out of there too. Yeah.
Yes.
And like you said, then boop, you top it off, run her up good, up on temperature. So you got all your fluid in there. Pip, 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 runs just fine.
Well, there was just all that garbage. The only thing that he was concerned about was the fact that there was so much garbage in the pan. He thought that transmission was done. because he was like pulling it, like taking handfuls of stuff out. It was so
I've
bad.
done it before that it comes out like honey. Yeah.
Yes.
And stink. Oh my
Yes.
God. Burnt transmission fluid is one of the worst smells.
Yes.
Burnt 90 weight is the only one that smells worse.
Yeah. Yeah, that does not smell good.
Oh, we've had them come in like 200,000, 250,000 miles, and they've never been flushed. Oh yeah, that stuff comes out like red, brown honey,
Yeah. Well,
especially on the pickup.
my 07 Camry, when we picked it up, it had like 190,000 on it. And I checked the transmission fluid right up to the top, but it still was red, but it was really burgundy, really deep red. And it had just a little burnt smell to it. Not anything to like, whoa, we got a problem, but yeah, I need to do a service on that. I'm here to tell you that was probably the nicest transmission service that I ever did. Other than there's a couple bolts that the cross member gets in the way. Other than that, it was all out in the open. It has a drain plug built into it. It was a joy. I'm like, why can't they all be this nice?
No kidding. And now they doing that. Some of them don't even have a dipstick anymore. I cannot believe that.
That
Lifetime.
boggles my mind.
There is no such thing as a lifetime fluid.
Well, that's what I was trying to read on one thing. It was like, oh, the fluid in the Toyota. Oh, it says on the dipstick, fluid in transmission is for the lifetime of the vehicle. And I said, no, it's not. Especially when it smells and looks like that.
Technically, it is, because when it breaks down and totally goes out, that was the life of it.
That was the life of it.
Throw it away and get another one.
Yeah, that's what blows me away. Or the other one I like is blah 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 manufacturer is now recommending an 11,000 mile oil change. No.
No way.
No way.
Oil is cheap. Engines and transmissions are expensive.
Yes, they are. And I've seen enough guys who religiously change their oil, like some at ridiculous levels. I knew a guy that changed his oil every 1,000 miles.
Yeah, that's a little excessive, but yeah.
I thought that was excessive. Old guy I bought a car from changed every 2,000 miles because he lived within the city. So he was always short trip in his car. Light it up on one side of town, drive it across town to his optometrist job, and then drive home. And then on the weekends, he was my scoutmaster. So
on an automatic car, yeah, that's a good idea because he's not running long enough for the choke to come off. So
exactly,
put a lot of fuel in there. Yeah,
and that's why he always 2,000 mile services, except for those long trips when he'd take us kids out on whatever adventure we were headed out on. That was a great car. I bought that from him when I was out of school. Top up with Del Monte every week.
Del Monte, not Dinty Moore.
He's got to get his green bean somewhere.
Good old Dean. I love you, man.
Good afternoon, Dino. I think it's early afternoon there.
I wish my brain and my mouth would have gotten together because I was trying to say your name during that video.
Mine or Dino's?
Dean's. We got a European shifter in the Volkswagen. So the indicator, it's on the right side, but it's upside down because the indicator's made for a right-hand drive car.
Oh yeah, that's in your dad's Doodlebug.
Yeah. I was trying to say Dean, and my brain just wouldn't do it.
Right. Or you're on camera, you're doing all your thoughts, everything's fine, you think you've got it, you turn that thing off and you like, okay, we'll get ready, we'll ship that. And then as you're shipping it, you're going, oh, I could have talked about this, and oh, I could have totally talked about that. That would have tied in great. And here's a good example. That happens all the time.
They're just delivering some chairs. Everyone says cheers. Thanks, Gene.
Hey, when Dean showed up, it was standing room only.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Now everybody can take a load off Mandy.
Whoa. Rest easy. Dean's here.
There he is. What's going on, Dean?
We are now sans chairs and we are headed out.
Now that everybody's got a place to sit, it's time to go find some standing room only.
Hi, Dean. Oh, he's driving the lorry.
I wonder if people walk on the wrong side.
I'm sure they do. Actually, the funny thing is they're upside down right now.
I know.
Oh, that stupid phone.
Oh, it's finally starting to cool off out there.
It was actually a lot nicer today than it was yesterday. Yesterday was oppressively hot. This past week was oppressively hot. In
Same
the
here.
mid 90s at mid 90% humidity.
Oh, I'd be dead.
Oh, we're on the move.
It's been well over 100 here, but only like 15-20% humidity.
That would be awesome around here. Yeah, it always gets oppressively muggy in late summer.
That's way worse than 115 here.
Yes. Yeah, 115 at 15% humidity. I've seen 115 at 75% humidity, 80% humidity.
God.
Yes. Yes. It just reaches out and slaps you in the face. You wear the air.
I was going to say, you don't wear your clothes wear you, and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Oh.
Fun fact, there is 2 facilities that make Pop-Tarts in America, at least back in the day. There could be more now. But there was one in Michigan and there was one somewhere else across America. And the quality was hands down better in the Michigan plant versus the other facility, to the point where they actually started to emulate the weather in the facility. I'm serious. In the other facility to mimic Michigan type weather, the humidity level and the high heat and everything, because they thought that maybe that was the reason why the Pop-Tarts were in Michigan were made better.
I don't know. Around here, it's just July, August weather. This is what we get.
Yep. Yeah, summertime in Michigan is just awesome. It's because I mean where we're at. I mean, I live near a lake, and then if I drive a few minutes away, I'm at a pond. I drive a few more minutes, I'm at another lake. Drive a few more minutes, I'm at another lake. I'm surrounded by lakes. Besides the big one I live next to. I don't live on, I live next to.
How far are you away from the Great Lake?
From a Great Lake, about half an hour.
Half an hour.
I'm about half an hour away from Lake Michigan. One of my favorite little places I like to go is a little itty bitty sliver of Michigan State owned beach, and it's called Pier Cove, and it's 66 feet of beach.
Really?
Yep.
Sandy.
It used to be a loading dock. That's why it was a pier to load out firewood, lumber, apples back in the heyday. So it stayed
Wait.
owned. And it's just a little park that you can go to and go right out on the lake shore. You sit on top of the hill, and great place for sunsets. One of my favorite places to go.
One of these days, I like to get to Michigan.
I would love to have you. I'll show you around.
One of these days, I will make it to the Fred Bear Museum.
Ooh, Grayling, Michigan.
Yep. Grayling or Traverse?
In Traverse? No, he's in Grayling. He was out of Grayling, Michigan.
I thought
Traverse
his
is over.
museum was in Traverse Bay.
Oh, now that could be it. That could be, because I know that Bear Archery, before Victor Compometer bought them out and moved the whole operation to Florida, because that's where Fred passed on, was in Florida. But yeah, he was out of Grayling, Michigan. Bear bows were started in Detroit, and then from Detroit they moved to Grayling, and then from Grayling they went to Florida. There was a Fred Bear Museum in my area that was on display, but I never remember it being open. I remember seeing the signs for it, but it never being open.
He was a cool guy.
Oh man, he dropped elephants with bows. He huge Kodiak bears. Yeah, he was a guest of a.
Dean here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi
Is
Dino.
that him?
Are you on the phone with a client?
Yeah.
Shh.
I have to ring.
I hope we didn't get him in trouble.
Double cheeseburger, large pop,
Double cheeseburger.
onion
burger.
rings.
Oh, is that you, boss? Oh, is that you?
He was over here with me.
Is he done yet? Is he done
I don't know. Is it safe yet, Dean? Can we come out now?
yet?
I'm thirsty.
Are we
Can
there
I get
yet?
Are we there yet? Yeah, get out now.
I see this guy out aim his camera there on live before. Didn't end well.
Has everyone
Lord.
seen the steering wheel?
Oh Lord. Oh. Luckily I've heard that. I haven't heard anything else from that kind of wacko weirdo stuff.
Yeah.
Those people that were stealing people's names and logos and then they
Yeah.
yeah.
Boy, they did a number that one night on Tony's channel.
Yeah, they got Tony. They got cousin Mike.
That's sad stuff. And then all for what? Doesn't make any sense. So now, oops, sorry.
Now you got the dog there.
That's Ruby.
That's Ruby.
That's Ruby.
That was one of my favorite Kenny Rogers songs.
Actually, that's not the song. She is named after a song, but that's not the one. The other one is, I think it's Donovan. Ruby, Ruby, you're my baby. Ruby, Ruby, I don't mean maybe.
I think it is Donovan.
Whoa. Who I think is got a cool dog is cousin Mike's dog, Bella, with her blue
Bella?
watch eye. Oh yeah. When she gets in spunky pup mode, that's fun.
Ours passed away right after I got home from the No Name Nationals. We said
really?
no more dogs after that.
I understand. This spring, my Kelpie, which is a subbreed of a blue heeler, she decided to follow a cat across the road one morning. I was getting ready for work, and she didn't make it home. That was pretty hard.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, Ruby really took it hard because that was her little BFF.
my cat Eddie, him and Maggie. She was a big Belgian Shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
Melano, whatever, black one.
Malamute.
They not Malamute,
Okay.
Malinois. Military
Yeah,
uses them a lot.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the pronunciation either.
Kind of looks like a German Shepherd, kind of, but they're black.
Yeah.
But him, that little cat, and that big old Shepherd, they were best of friends.
Yep.
They'd team up and go out through the pasture and they'd hunt together and you name it. They were inseparable.
Funny how that is.
And for months after she passed away, he'd walk around the whole property calling for her. It was kind of heartbreaking.
It really is. Yep. He's like, I know you're out here somewhere. You got to come home sometime. Sorry, bud. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what, Edelbrooks do not like hollies. Guaranteed.
I always found the Edelbrock to be refreshingly simple.
Oh God, yeah. I love them for that. Hardcore performance, yeah, Holly
No.
all the way.
Yeah, Holly all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. But just simplicity, daily driver, you want to just get in, hit the key, and go. Edelbrock all
Yes.
the time.
And you know, I had my old friends. The one guy, he was a Holly guy from. Oh, they're so easy. How can you not? Oh, get rid of that piece of junk and put a Holly on it. Yeah.
Bad thing about a Holly is one backfire and you're rebuilding it. It'll go
Yeah.
through, it'll pop through and pop that power valve every time.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, don't
almost.
they make like an anti blowable backfire
I've never
proof?
seen when it works. I've seen them pop as well.
Some motorcraft carbs take the a Holly power valve too, don't they?
Yeah, they were made by Holly.
Oh, they were made by Holly.
Yeah. You'll find Hollies on some Fords. They've always been tied together,
All right.
kind of like Carter is with Mopar and Rochester is to GM. Holly always was with Ford.
Tell you what, Rochester, some guy was actually talking about I think it was Pole Barn Garage that was talking about the ladies, and it was mainly ladies that were building carburetors, Rochester carburetors. And he said like a couple hundred ladies for years were building these carburetors. And he's like, thanks, ladies. You built a good product for the old Quadrajet.
I love the Quadrajet. Yeah, its float bowl is only about a teaspoon, but for mileage, you can't beat a Quadrajet.
And it's a Quadrajet. It'll
Yeah.
at least run.
Yep.
Yeah, anyone who would sit there and badmouth a Quadrajet never spent the time to get to know it.
And most everybody doesn't do the secondaries, those secondary vacuum plugs, or they pop them out and they epoxy them. They make a kit for that. And
Right.
if you pop that kit in, and it's only like $4, $3-4. All it is, 2 little plugs, pop it in there. You got to drill them out, drill the old ones out,
Right.
pop those in. Bing, you're in business. My dad, he specialized in Quadrajets. In fact, I think Quadrajets is what paid for that shop is.
There was an old Indian guy that used to live in our area, and if you had a Quadrajet and you wanted it to really run, you took your carburetor off, you went and bought a carb kit, and then you went and bought a case of Budweiser, and you'd swing in on the old Indian guy. And you think I'm joking, but that's true. He'd sit there and drink beer and tell you great stories, and he'd pull that carburetor apart so fast that you didn't know he could do it that fast. And then he'd say, don't need that, don't need this, don't need that, don't need this, don't need that. And then he'd buff this, and he'd take a pair of vice grips to that, and he'd needle nose this and put it all back together, and the thing would run like a scalded dog. He was a genius when it came to Quadrajets.
Except for in 86, when they tried to put a throttle position sensor on it, and
Yep.
when they computerized them. That was utter garbage. You pulled that sucker off, and just like he was saying, don't need this. Yeah, you took that whole thing off, don't
Yep.
need this, and you put an
Yep.
old one back on it.
Yep. Well, my 83 Olds Custom Cruiser that had a Rochester, computer controlled Rochester on it. And
83?
I did put a new carb on it while I owned the car, but that thing actually ran great. It was no powerhouse, but it did okay.
You get the Quadrajet bog, but it is one cool sound, you know,
This is true. Oh.
when those
Actually, there's
Allen
only there's only one sound better, and that's the thermal quad moan. I'm a Chrysler guy. I gotta say it. Thermal quad.
the thermal quad moan and the high pitched whine of the starter. Yep.
Yep. My friend Dean always calls it not Stevenson. My friend Dean always calls it a Dodge.
It sounds like on a rev limiter. Yeah. I never thought about that before. Yeah, it sounds like it's on a rev limiter.
No. Just the way that the Mopar starter is. So he always called it a Dodge.
In my town, there was one guy that had Mopar, one family that had nothing but Mopar.
Yep.
And he still got them all. And he'll sell anything on the place but any of those.
Yeah.
He's got like 4 swept sides. He's got an old job rate 56.
Okay, job rated.
Yeah, he's got quite a few Mopars. His dad was hardcore Mopar too.
I love swept line trucks. They're a good looking pickup.
All the way up to 2 ton, 2.5 ton, all the way down to 1/2 ton.
There is a junkyard northeast of me that has a 49 Dodge pickup. That's a factory black truck. And someone had swapped a Firepower 392 into it. And a manual transmission. And I'm like, I want that truck.
I did get one from him. It was a 69 Satellite. 2-door. It was not a bad looking little car. I traded him a whole rabbit setup, about 30 rabbits. We were raising rabbits at the time. Traded all of it, all the pins, everything. We got the heck out of rabbits.
And got into Roadrunners. Or Satellites, sorry.
On the tree, but instead of putting a floor shifter, the bushings all went out on it. So he just took and it looked like he used a can opener, cut a hole in the floor and poked the linkages out through the floor.
Yeah.
So to shift it, you pull on this one, push down on this one.
Yes, I've seen those. or the ones where, yes, there's a shifter on the floor, but pay attention because he illustrated in paint marker on the dash the new shift pattern because it's not what you're used to.
They run it backwards. That's easy to do, especially with
I've seen it backwards. Yes, where like
because the arms go on up instead of down, or vice versa. No,
I've seen so many different things over the years. Just someone hillbilly in it. The worst one I'd ever seen, well, no, in a rig, the strangest shifter setup I've seen was in a semi truck. We didn't have it very long when I worked at the asphalt company, thank God, because it was too much. It was more than what we needed. It was a twin stick, but it had 22 forward speeds on a main shifter, and then it had a 4-speed shifter next to it that you didn't have to clutch to shift. You take the main shifter and put it in first. Then that's with the clutch. So you let your clutch out in first, then you let off the throttle, and then first, second, third, fourth, just letting off the throttle. Then you grab the big shifter and you put that in second gear, and then you do another 4-speed, and then continue on, so on and so forth. If you were loaded, otherwise you could just hang it in fourth and just bang each gear. But yeah, if you were loaded down, you could run 4 speeds of every gear. And I'm like, we don't need this thing.
It's just overcomplicated. It's too much to do. That's for one bored trucker.
Yes. No, what it's for is hauling rocks. It came out of an old quarry, is what it is. So that
Oh,
thing was
okay.
made to tow tons and tons of stone up on those roads all the way up. Yeah, the boss bought it cheap, thought he was buying something else, and I brought it. I finally messed with it and realized we can't use this thing. This thing is way too much truck.
Vice
Yeah,
Grip just bought one.
yeah, that's like it's an extended cab Dodge truck with a 413 in it. And yeah, it was just built by a bunch of good old boy farmers. So yeah, it's not it looks shady built by today's standards, but I bet you that was perfectly fine back in the day. Them old farm boys, yeah.
It's a crusher. Car
It's an old
crusher
crusher.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an old car crusher.
You don't put those airborne. It
Oh,
hurts.
no.
Those.
Oh no. Well,
my
that
God.
thing also has like an iron beam suspension that the thing's really interesting.
Black Sheep. I remember that name sounds very, very familiar.
Yeah, it's the Black Sheep. Yeah, he bought Black Sheep. It's a
That'd be
black
a car
truck,
crusher.
extended cab, and it was sitting on the big old tires, and the tires say 6-foot sole or something like that.
66. Yeah.
And then it was used as a ride, so it had it's got seats in the back of it.
Ride truck conversion, just like ours was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours started out as Undertaker,
Okay.
and then Undertaker's Last Ride, and then we changed the name to Thumper. But ours was as long as we had it, it was always a ride truck.
Okay.
We were a sideshow of a sideshow.
Yeah, but you probably made how many little kids' day daily?
It was fun. It was a
Where
fun
these
time.
little kids are just going, "This is the greatest thing ever," and you're just like, "Yeah, this is just Tuesday, kid."
And watching the parents go,
Exactly. It's gonna catch fire at any second. No, it's not.
because we weren't an idler. You see a lot of them trucks going around. We call them idlers because they just slow roll. We was out there spinning donuts, and yeah, we did everything that we could that kept all the poor tires on the ground.
Okay.
Because if one tire leaves, whew, your insurance company and salesman, his head goes.
Exactly. Man, I hate to explain this to you. You don't do that. I hate explaining this. No, I know explain.
And when we got out of it, it was down to one company that would insure. Other than that, if you lost it, you lost everything.
Yes. Well,
And
here
it's expensive. It's scary expensive.
I was talking to a gentleman who retired and closed his full service gas station. And he was talking about that he still wanted to run the full service island at his station because of tradition. It was just what we did. We always would go out and fill up the cars who wanted it. And he says that we finally had to stop. And he goes, "You won't believe the reason why." Insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance. For whatever reason, because one of his employees was handling the gas nozzle and filling a customer's car, that was so much liability that the insurance company just didn't want anything to do with it. They'd rather take their chances with just Joe Sixpack than an actual employee of the gas station filling cars.
Well, you know the customer that comes in for an oil change, and then the turn signal on the back bumper goes out. That's your fault because you changed oil on it.
Yep, it happened on your watch.
People, you put gas in their car and they drop number one cylinder. Well, that was your fault because you put gas in my car.
Yep.
Sue them, and finally it goes away.
I had a friend of mine who constantly would get bad batches of gas. Hated this particular station local to us because of bad gas. And would
There was
avoid
one
this.
in Arco that you stayed away from.
Right. And I was thinking about that afterwards. I don't think I've ever had a bad batch of gas. So,
Mike Galloway. I know that name. Yeah, I know that truck.
okay.
We never run together because very rare do you have 2 or 3 or 4 ride trucks at one place. But
Oh, yeah, that would have to be like a big gathering where they'd need more than one attraction.
World
Because, yeah, that
Finals.
makes sense.
only
You wouldn't
one.
want to step on each other's toes. That's
Yeah.
stupid.
A couple of them we got double booked and we ended up having to run doubles. But
But that wasn't set up that way.
Denver we'd run doubles because Denver was a big show. That was my favorite show to do too. The owner of the Colorado Speedway, oh, he's a great guy, Jim. If you ever get a chance, you want to go see a NASCAR event, go to Colorado. And the owner of the track, awesome guy. His name's Jim.
Okay.
And
I
Bernie,
want to go
the
to
track
see
guy.
Colorado anyway.
The guy that does all the maintenance on the track, his name is Bernie. Oh Lord, he is he reminds me of Dizzy Izzy. They look close to the same, and he rides around on a little like a Razor scooter,
Yeah.
but he put a Honda 125 motorcycle engine on it. That
Yeah.
thing will do over 60 mile an hour, and it is the freakiest thing you ever see. You'd be driving on the freeway. There's a little frontage road right alongside the freeway that goes
Yeah.
to the track. You'll see Bernie out there just standing like this with his arms down. He's holding on to the handlebars, doing 60 mile an hour. It looks like a guy just standing there going. And like I said, he reminds me of Dizzy because I think they're brothers. And one cool guy. Oh, he's fun to just sit down and talk with. Oh, Colorado Speedway is a great place.
Okay. Well, if you ever come up here, you need to check out Martin 131 Dragway. That's not far away from where I live.
One of
Nice
these days
venue.
I'll make it over there.
Right? Well, when you make it out here, I'll take you out for the best steak dinner you ever had. Guaranteed.
Mike
Hope
Galloway.
was supposed to come up a few weeks ago, and I was going to take him out to that steakhouse, but he ended up changing his plans.
How far away are you from 6%?
6%'s on the other side of the state. I am West Michigan, Southwest Michigan, and he's Southeast Michigan. I've been to 6%'s house. I
Oh,
know
really?
where he lives. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd seen the yeah.
Yeah, 6%'s area is really nice. For the burbs.
Hitchhiking cross country, hang out with other YouTubers, huh?
Couch surfing across the USA. Stone Soup ain't got nothing on me.
There was
Here
a
I am
guy.
sleeping on the couch at Heaven's Mopars. Here I am sleeping on the couch at Junkyard D.
There was a kid on YouTube. I think he started it on YouTube. It's like a little S10 pickup. It's been in magazines now, but that's how he started it all. He started with just a stock little mini truck. Maybe it's a Toyota or a Nissan. I don't remember. It's one of those little mini trucks. And he ended up, he'd go to every, kind of like Stone Soup, he'd go to different shops all around the country, and somebody would do something on it. Now you see him, it's still the same truck, but it's got an LS that hangs up out of the hood and two great big old hair dryers on it. It's a cool truck. And then in the bed of the truck, everybody who's done something on it has signed it, and you can follow the whole build. It's a cool concept, but that's how
It
he
is
did
a
it.
cool
He started
concept.
in one place, and he just drive to somebody else's shop, and they would let him in and work on it, or they would do, little stuff to it all across the country. And he's been in every state.
That's cool.
And the kid's like, well, when he started it, he was like 20 years old. He's probably in his 30s now.
And after a decade of that treatment, that thing's got to be a beast.
Oh, it's pretty quick. If you've
I
got
hope it is.
Amazon Prime, there's a show it was a short-lived series called Fastest Car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that truck is on season 2.
Season 2.
The last season. There's only 2 seasons.
Okay. Season 2 is, I think I know what you're talking about. It's a blue S10.
I thought it was cream colored. You might be right. Been a long time since I watched that.
I know in the second season there was a guy from the greater Detroit area that had a old G body Chevy van, or
Yeah.
the van with the big old nitrous tank in the back of it. It was a big block van, and he couldn't hook the thing up.
And they had troubles when they were setting it up, getting ready at the line. His crew was kind of uncoordinated.
He took a second burnout and disqualified himself.
Yeah, I remember that.
That I can remember. The cream S10. I'm trying to place it. Yeah, that's right, because everyone was looking the vehicles over. They were at an airstrip, and they had all the vehicles parked underneath an open hangar.
And then at the final, they do like 4 wide, quarter-mile drag.
Okay.
It's supposed to be about sleeper cars against supercars, but some of those sleepers, how do you have a sleeper when you got big old turbos hanging out of the hood? That ain't much of a sleeper. But it was, I kind of liked it. It was an all right show.
Right. Well, or at least that's the maybe they were trying to throw that sleeper keyword out there to be, ooh, it's a sleeper. Yeah, it's a sleeper with five superchargers stacked on the hood like a Mad Max movie car. It's a sleeper. Oh my God, that's a grocery getter for sure.
It's got 24-inch slicks on it, wide slicks on it.
Yeah, it's got a full tube chassis on it, all hand built. Yeah, the little old lady only drove it to church and bingo.
I drive it every day. It's my daily driver.
It's my daily driver.
Got a 2-gallon gas tank in it. Yeah.
Why are you putting ice in the intercooler? Oh, that's to keep my buds cold. Reach in there, pull beer out. I do have a
corn on the cob on the grill.
I do have a Moroso Super Cool can, and I do so want to go pull up to a car show and then open up my cool can and pull a beer out. Just one while I'm at the show.
Yeah, that was a pretty good show. I liked it better than Street Outlaws.
Yes.
Even though it was real short-lived. Well, I liked the first 2 seasons of Street Outlaws, but after that they started getting weird.
Yeah. I like the original premise where you had like you're fast. All right, fine. Take the lowest man. If you can beat the lowest man on the ladder, you're in. And that was what, Farm Truck? Yeah, it was Farm Truck. And Farm Truck wasn't exactly slow.
No, we were not.
So yeah, so if you're a bad mamma jamma and you could at least beat Shop or Farm Truck, then yeah, you'd go up against the rest of them. It's like, wow, I kind of like the idea.
But then they all started bringing pro mods out onto the street. And
Yeah,
then the whole overproduction and the production companies got involved. And
we're gonna lose the shop.
yeah,
We gotta win this race, or yeah, little Timmy's going to die. Yeah, I'm so happy that there's no longer that stuff going on, you know, or for car shows where we're gonna lose the shop, or we gotta win the trophy at the Amelia Island car show, or
we ain't gonna have nothing. We're gonna be hitchhiking back home.
exactly. Yeah, where we can build a car in 40 minutes.
Or you see the season 1, and he's got all kinds of projects behind him, you know, kind of in that strategic, well placed, you know, he's saying, okay, on this episode, we're going to do this and this and this. Let's see if we can get it done. And then you watch all the way to season 3, and the project that they're working on is in the background in season 1 opener. Yeah, you're doing these cars in 30 days? Yeah.
Right. Well,
People
there's
don't realize how much it takes when you take a car to 0. Yeah. And put it all back together. Yeah, that's years.
there's a guy up by that's local to us. His first name's Andy, and he is just one of those guys who's just dripping with car talent. And he blows apart cars and builds them custom. And it takes him like a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years to build a car.
Takes time.
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. And
Well,
you can't stack people on it because then you're bumping elbows and everybody's in the way. You know, bottom line is it takes time.
A lot of times what he will do is he plays for most of the summer, and that's when you'll see him out, because he still advertises for his business. He has this red Chevy pickup that's just to die for, and it's got his business name. He's got wooden stakes that go in the bed of his truck, and then it says his business name on it. So he goes and he plays and he makes sure that he's seen by the right people, and then all winter long, like, that's all he is in the shop just grinding. When the weather sucks and you can't do anything, he is making magic happen, working some serious hours. That's when he really flies, is in winter.
Yeah, me and Dad, Sir Rat, that took 2 winters to do. The Volkswagen, that took 1 winter to do.
Okay.
The 55 was actually the quickest one. The 55 Ford that's sitting on a 77 Malibu frame.
Oh, okay.
That one was actually the quickest.
Yeah,
Man,
you're the
but,
same way.
yeah.
What else is there to do?
You
Might as well
know.
get stuff done.
But those are rat rods. You know, you're not worried about, okay, is this the original part? You know, body
Right.
work. Whoa, there's your time sink right there.
Well, what I don't understand is, like, you'll get these custom car builders, and a customer is going to come up with a Buick Invicta, which is a beautiful, crazy car to begin with. And if you just rolled up in a bone stock Invicta, everyone's going to look at you because it's just so unique. And of course, you got a guy who's like, oh, I want to make it custom. I want to have this body line taken out, and I want scallops put in here, and I want this and that. And I mean, you've already got something that's like nothing else, but now you want to. It's not like you've got like another 70,000 Invictas running around the area where you need to set yours apart from the pack. I mean, it's going to blow, just stock, it's going to blow people's socks off. Oh, the Periscope's up.
What do you want? You got a question?
Yes.
Go get you something to eat.
There's tuna this way.
No, but we live and die by the rat rod rule. If it's too good, you pass it off to somebody else. You never kill a good car. Like you said, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, I hate getting a good car. That Dart broke my heart. It's too good. I can't kill it. I can't cut the floor. So
Yep.
now what do? I'll put it together for my granddaughter.
There you go.
I was gonna put that Y block in it, cut it, move,
Yep.
make it straight, because those early A bodies are all angled. That blew my mind. But no, the car's in too good a shape. I can't break the code. I can't kill it.
You know what? That's really good, because there are guys that do unbelievable things. I seen a guy that was so heck bent on saving a particular car because that was the one that he drove to high school. That's the one that he dated his girlfriend in, blah, 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 blah. So he went out and sourced a car that was better than his. And instead of taking the good body and using that and making a clone of his car, he cut up the good car to patch together his yes. He destroyed a perfectly good car to resurrect his own car, because that was the car that he drove to high school and everything.
What's wrong with
okay,
you buying
bud?
aftermarket stuff? It still brings it back. You're throwing paint over it anyway,
Yep.
and it's still yours. You're not killing something else to.
Yep. I didn't understand that. Like, that's a lot of work. And he goes, yeah, but it'll be worth it. Okay.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's your time.
At the end of the day, it's his car, his money. He bought
Yep.
both of them.
Yep. It's
You
his
can do
money.
whatever
If
the
he
hell you
wants to
want.
throw it in a pool and go Scrooge McDuck in it, he can do that.
But I would have sold that pristine one for the cash to buy the aftermarket stuff. Put mine back together.
Well, this was done long enough ago to where the aftermarket wasn't there.
Oh, was it?
Right. But he did source a absolutely stellar car to cut up to help his own. And he was one of the guys that just wouldn't listen to reason. Everyone's like, just no, this is so nice. Just leave it alone. No. I want to use that to my car. I want my car. No. All right, guy. It did turn out well. He did do a really good job.
Very good friend of mine. Again, Daryl, the guy that did the hydrogen thing.
Yep.
His brother Jack has got a beautiful 56 Ford Crestliner.
Okay.
All it's missing is the little emblem that's about that big that goes on the back seat. That's all that car is missing, and it's never left the garage. And he won't use an aftermarket. He's got to find the perfect OEM little emblem.
Okay. So really, that's the only hiccup that keeps it from being used?
It's just
wow.
Garage. Well, he's got plenty others too, but yeah, that beautiful. I think it's 56 or a 55.
So if the car was perfect, had that one emblem, he would take it out and use it.
No, he'd find another excuse.
Okay, that's exactly what I was driving. That's what I was driving at. Because that sounds to me like that thing's always going to be a garage queen.
Jim Connis, he had a guy that lives just around the corner from me, lived. He's passed away now, and that's part of the story. He had a 1909 Cadillac, early Cadillac.
Yeah. White tires.
And yeah.
No roof, no canopy, no nothing.
Yeah. Double cow. Oh, beautiful car. He bought that when in his 20s, and Jim passed away. Oh, he was in his 90s. never drove the car. Wanting it original, you know, just it's kind of his hobby. He tinkered. He had, again, he's another guy that had plenty of them.
Oh yeah.
That car he never drove it. Always looking for that one piece, you know, that how many 1909 Cadillacs were left out there, you know.
Right.
He had to take the engine and have it shipped to Vermont or New Hampshire. There's a guy over there that still builds them back to his specifications. There's a guy local that'll do it too, but he wanted it all done. He's one of those guys that he takes the bolts to Montana and has them re-zinced because he wants the original nuts and bolts. You know, that extreme.
Well, hey, that attention to detail is what makes, you know, when it matters. Yeah, it's those little details that pay big dividends.
It's an old flapper engine. That was one of the things that guy did. You know, he'd stamp out the leather flaps that go on the
flap,
flap and throw oil that sling the oil around because there's no oil pump.
Yeah,
I mean, just that kind of an attention to detail.
Yep.
Old Jim, he was a cool guy, but yeah, he's got about 100. I'd say he's got at least 100 Model A, Model Ts out in his field.
Wow.
They're all these parts cars. But he would not sell a thing to me and my dad because we're hot rodders.
I understand. Yeah, he knows what's going to happen. You're going to chop it all up and do crazy things with it, and that's just not right. Well, there was an old auto parts store up in Grand Rapids, which is a major town north of me, and they specialized in antique car parts. Like you could go there and buy everything you needed to rebuild a Model T or a Model A or your Nash or it was amazing what they held. Guy came looking for cord parts and they had the valves that they needed.
He's got a cord, Duesenberg cord.
They had parts for a cord. Yes. A friend of mine, he had a 60 Fairlane, and his wife goofed up and backed into his 60 Fairlane and cracked the taillight and cracked the ring around the taillight. And he's at work crying to me going, my wife backed into my Fairlane. How am I going to get a taillight for my Fairlane? And I said, we'll go out on lunch and I'll get you a taillight. And he goes, on lunch. On lunch. Yeah, we'll go over to Northwestern Auto. He goes, if you can get me a taillight on our lunch break for my car, I'll buy you lunch. I got lunch.
We've got one here. It's out in Fort Hall. Everybody knows about it. If you've ever been on HAM, Honky Ass Motor Brothers, the big forum for classic cars.
Okay.
The Fort Hall junkyard comes up all the time, and it's about 20 minutes from us.
Okay.
Same thing. He's pretty picked clean now because old Walt's about ready to retire, and he's just dumping stuff.
This place closed their doors in December of 21. The old man had passed away, and the three guys that had worked there for the old boy for years and years, one of them for over 50 years, they decided that they were going to keep the business open for one more year. And then on the anniversary of the boss's death, they were going to close the business because the wife and the son didn't want to continue the business. And so they're selling stuff that's getting close to the end. And I'm befriending these guys. And it's like, well, are you interested in this? Would you be interested in that? And one of the things is I had just bought my Sun distributor machine, and he goes, do you want a bearing service? And I said, bearing service? Like Babbitt bearings? And he says, yes, Babbitt bearings. He says, you're here. You might as well come see this. And he takes me into a 30 by 30 square room. And it was all of it was the whole Babbitt bearing service. The line mills, the molds, the shells, the hood, the smelter, everything. He told me that he'd sell me the whole business for $7,000. He goes, I just want to see it go to someone who will use it. And then he goes to the middle of the room. There's a table in the middle of the room, and there's a notebook. And he starts to flip through the notebook, and each page is an engine that he has built himself in that room. And he had Jaguar engines sent to him from England. He's had engines sent to him from Poland. He's had engines sent to him from California, Washington,
Wow.
Montana's. Yes, 1925 Dodge, 1925 Ford, 1919 Cadillac, so on and so forth. And I went, wow. And I didn't have that. I didn't have the scratch, because I totally would have bought it just to have that whole shop. But I don't think anyone would be really beating down my door like that for Babbitt bearing work. But yeah,
It's a niche market though, and those things wear out quick. So everybody who does have them, if it just needs bearing, and you're the only guy around,
right.
Like I tell everybody, carburetors are a good thing to learn, and it's actually a good business to be in, because people are still running them. And
look at that nice young lady, Riley. Have you seen Riley's rebuilds?
Great example right there.
Yep. A little cute young lady with a go-getter attitude and not scared to jump into that mystical carburation device. Heck yeah.
And look what she's done with it now.
Look what she's done with it.
She's pretty big time now.
Good for her.
When we first met her, she was a little tiny channel. Now look at her. She's doing really good. She's rubbing elbows with the big guys.
Well, I went to her site and seen some of the carbs that she's got for sale. And there she is with her holding a carburetor like she's got a fresh plate of brownies and that just $1 million smile of hers. And you're like, how do you not want this VRS?
And her prices are really good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Extremely fair. She's not gouging anybody by any means. She's making her money on volume, not on, specific.
Yeah. And she's just good at what she does, and she sells herself.
Mm-hmm.
A good mechanic sells themselves.
And she's smart. She keeps it right at one.
Yeah.
She stays right in her lane and just reaps the benefits of everything that comes from it. I'm very happy for her.
Yep. And it just goes to show just someone who ain't afraid to roll up their shirt sleeves and jump in. I mean, yeah.
And there's a market out there for anybody, any young kids looking for, a business opportunity. There you go.
Well,
even if you just start with
a problem is that some kids, I know this is going to sound strange, but some kids can't fail because they never had to. It's okay, Tommy. Here you go. It's okay, Tommy. Here you go.
Everybody gets.
He's never been disappointed. He's never failed because it was engineered that way that he doesn't fail. So when they do fail, oh my gosh, it's not supposed to be this way. I'm not supposed to fail. I can do anything.
I fail so many times that I actually look forward to the failure because then I'll know exactly what to do.
What really bothers me is when you try to use your wits and fix something to the best of your ability, and you're really trying, and you're keep hitting a brick wall because you're doing the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result.
Yep.
That's what I hate. Is you're like, I don't know anything else. And then
and with cars, I help people all the time with them. And the
Right.
biggest thing that people get it's stuck into with the car is they start getting shaky. They start to get pissed off and frustrated.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
once you go into that mode, it's just a one-way tunnel, and it's not going to look good at the end.
Walk away.
Yep.
Cool off. Take a break.
It's
My
just
nephew-
a car.
My nephew's 15. He gets frustrated working on his 76 Nova. And I turned to him and he's getting mad. He's losing his cool. And I said, hey, why don't you go in the house? And because we're at my mom and dad's place. I said, hey, why don't you go in the house, go take a walk, go take a break. No, I want to get this done. Ah, you're ready for a break, bud. Why don't you go in the house and get yourself something to drink? Go talk to grandma a minute. And he did. He comes back out and he's like, yeah, I'm good now. Ready to try again? Yeah.
And usually that's when it'll just fall into place.
That's what I was hoping for. It didn't work that way. We still had to cuss and swear and fight. But at least I proved to him that taking a break works.
Sometimes the most valuable tool you can have in the shop is a comfortable chair. So you can
Yes.
just sit down, slide back, and think about it for a second.
Or just a fresh set of eyes to the problem.
Mm-hmm. Or somebody to come in and say, hey, you better slow down on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're-
Hey, wait a
you're
minute.
getting
Is
a
that
little
you
bit
supposed to
too
be
far
blown? What?
Especially doing rat rods. There is a difference between a rat rod and a trinket rod. A trinket rod is when you go way too far. That's when you need somebody in the shop to pull back on those reins and say, slow down here a little.
So what do you call the death trap rat rods? 'Cause
Crack
I know
rod.
you guys don't build those.
That's a crack rod.
Okay, crack rod. Okay. Yeah, there are I don't know, there's some guys that just insist on taking their lives into their hands every time they drive their cars.
And I've seen a lot of them out of a kit that look beautiful, but I would not touch them with a 10-foot pole. They're made to go into a trailer and go, and then off a trailer and rolled in.
Look cool wherever we push it.
Beautiful ones. But yeah, I take one look at that pitman arm and that drag link. Yeah, no freaking way am I driving that thing.
There was a gentleman that had like a 1949 or a 1950 Ford pickup, and he built a street rod out of it. And he never it was the hot rod primer black color.
Mhm.
And he had spent a whole summer boxing the frame in, making it super strong, and they did all this great custom work. And then when he had like this really wicked twin turbo small block Chevy for it, and then he put a straight axle under the front of it, and then the front springs that he used were the same spring. Well, he bought them at the farm store. They're for like a one-place
Right.
snowmobile trailer.
Monolith. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he mounted them like
Cool.
rigid under the front frame rail, so they didn't even have a space. Really, they didn't have any space for the spring to grow, if you know what I mean. The spring
No
swing.
shackles?
Yeah, no shackles.
Ah, that's got zero. Might as well just welded it on solid.
Yes, and you just see all this, and then he's talking about how it doesn't seem to handle very well at slow speeds in parking lots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know why, because that axle's probably rolling. Turning those wheels so sharp, and the axle probably has nowhere to go but to twist down, which changes everything. And yeah, he drive past my house and just kick that thing down, man. It sounded great, but yeah, I wouldn't want to drive. He said, you can drive it if you want. I'm like, oh man, I was drinking beer at the time. I'm like, nah, I've had too much to drink. I'm like,
that Speedway kit you get, it's universal to fit everything but yours.
oh,
if you don't know what you're doing, make sure you have somebody else help you with that, because the straight axle gasser conversion kit that they
Yep.
sell,
Yep.
yeah, it's make sure you got somebody who knows how to set them up, because I've seen that one done so poorly that same thing.
Yes. Yes.
They're set
Well,
for no caster for one. So you get that thing up to 30, 40 mile an hour. Yeah, she's all over the road.
Yep. Well, what it comes to is that a lot of guys don't know what they don't know. And then they just, well, here we've got it and we're going to throw it together. And you're right. You need someone to have a coach, someone who's played this game before, saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Sure you want to do that?
Not for your own safety. If you want to go out there and kill yourself, go out there and kill yourself. I could care less.
Yeah, but if you're
Put
going to
other
take
people
some
on
of us
road.
with you, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to go.
You want to hurt yourself, hurt yourself. I don't care, but don't hurt anybody else. Just going to Sunday dinner or something.
A friend of mine would tell this story. One of his friends drank a lot, and he had some young kids, and he had popped a brake line on his car, and he actually borrowed the guy who owned the shop's torch and some solder, and was going to go over there and solder up the pinhole on his brake line. And my friend walked up to him and said, "You are really going to do that?" He goes, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "I don't have any money," because he would drink it all away. And this is back when you could do that. He actually handed him a $10 bill and said, "Here, take my truck, go to the store and buy a stick of brake line, and don't spend it on beer."
Or the bottom way to fix it be cut it back, cut the split out of it, double flare it, and stick a fitting in there, a union, and
Yep,
that's
put a union in it.
you don't want to run the whole line. As long as that's if there's a break, something hit it to break it, not a rust out. A rust out, you change the whole freaking thing.
Yep.
Yeah, guy that used to run the First Service Center, our little repair shop right in the town here. We was over getting parts at the parts house is right next to it. Was in there getting parts, and old Steve come in and said, "You got to come and see this. Come here and look." Somebody had used a grease gun nozzle for a brake line.
Okay.
You must have spent $100 worth of solder and fittings to adapt that to make it work for a brake line. And every time you hit the brake, it's not rated for that kind of pressure. It would balloon out and lock the brake up. And
That's
finally,
almost
Steve. And of course, Steve had a caliper now. It's not a simple little brake hose. Now it's a caliper and rerun the brake line because he hacked into it all. Yeah, it was a mess, but I got to give the guy credit for being able to adapt that, even though it was completely.
Oh yeah. You must have read my mind, because I was going to talk about my friend Kathy. She took over her dad's auto parts business and new auto parts. And one day she has a guy come in and he buys 2 rolls of fuel line hose. Okay. 2 rolls of it. There you go. 2 rolls. Wow. And then, he used it as brake lines, and he was coming in bitching because they didn't work. He wanted better stuff.
Every time I hit the brake, they go, "Whoa."
Yeah, these brakes don't work good at all. And she's like, "Who in the right mind uses fuel line?" She goes, "I could think of way better stuff than use than that."
Well, at least it wasn't surgical too, but yeah.
Right?
Oh, Lord, yeah. The things you see.
Unfortunately, Kim, I have to go to bed.
Oh,
so
me too.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. And bye to everyone in the chat.
Thanks for coming in, Duckster. You're more than welcome any old time.
Appreciate it, man. Later.
Get some sleep, brother. And with that, I think I'll close her up too. Oh, good Lord, we're on almost 4 hours. That's a little long for me. Thanks everybody coming out this week. I'm still trying to get everything set up and situated so we can do this out in the front yard. I was going to do the whole setup out there, but it's too hot. It was overheating my camera even while I was filming out there. But we'll get it all situated and I'll actually do some actual fun live stuff. And hopefully next week, or look for it popping up throughout the week. I don't know, maybe on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, anytime I can get it to work. We'll jump out there and I'll show you pulling an engine or I don't know, something to do with that Lincoln and get it out of here before the wife sees it. So in the meantime, everybody, thanks for coming in this week. If you missed John Wilburn's Creator Workshop, go back and watch it. It's on his channel. He was with Buck Does It. He was the guest host and covered some really good stuff. Some little quick little tips and stuff on how to get your channel going, how to kickstart it, and how to get more people to watch you. Can't recommend it enough. John's put in a lot of work on that, trying to help everybody. And it all pays off if you pay attention to it all. So, in the meantime, everybody get out there and get some metal hot and beat these hot summer days. Till then, we'll catch y'all next week. Or whenever I can get this figured out and do it during the week. We'll see y'all next one.